Are you a towel? I am a towel. Hello, Kevin. Hello, Nikki Undercover. Roll the intro.
Hold on. Wait a second. That's it.
That's it?
Yeah, that's the melody to Funky Town.
You're the towel. That's it. That's the melody to Funky Town. Hello. That's me. I'm a towel. How's everybody doing? Good? Everybody feeling like a towel? Were you all born like towels? I'm a towel. We have a lot of work to do today. Did you know we got through 1,000 pages of sidebars? It turns out we have 4,000 pages to go. We're going to be here for a few days. But in any event, we're going to do some Epstein files maybe as well. Then we'll talk about the whole John O'Keefe situation, which is very perturbing. It's like very perturbing. The whole thing is perturbing. People's reactions to it is perturbing. The attempted censorship is perturbing. Like, I'm just mad. And, as you probably learned if you watched this stream, me being interested in something is fine. You want me interested, because then I'll just move on to the next thing. If you've pissed me off, oh, we have a problem. Hello, Pertinent. What a wonderful username. I love it. Hello, over it for now. I'm a towel. Good morning. We're going to split today up, all right? I've decided the best way for me to do this is like sessions. So we'll do a morning session, split it up. We'll do an afternoon session. I think it's President's Day, too. So, happy President's Day if you're in the United States. I'm an American towel. I hate the commies. I love America. All right? So, morning session, we'll do some sidebars. I'd like to get through, like, I don't know, 500 to 1,000 pages. Good morning indeed. I'd like to get through, like, 1,000 pages. Okay? And then we can do a little Epstein files research. I forget what I wanted to start researching. There's a number of, like, things I'm interested in. I think I want to look into, like, the private investigation firms he hired. Then there's also this journalist on Twitter that keeps attacking the survivors. So what I want to do is, like, he's talking about one of the women, one of the survivors who, like, was on federal probation. But it turns out, like, Epstein called a federal judge, like a now sitting federal judge who was, like, formerly a powerful AUSA, a federal prosecutor. And, like, when the guy was in private practice, he had Epstein, like, hunt down one of these, like, survivors who, like, was monitored by federal law enforcement to keep her under control for Epstein's ring. Hello, Nancy and Abby. I am a towel. How you doing, Abby? You've been well. It's good to see you both. Hi, Lisa and Cannoli. It is so good to see you as well. So I want to look a little bit into, like, first of all, why this journo is bashing this victim or survivor of victimization, who was very clearly, like, on federal probation as a way to, like have cops as her pimp. Okay? Now, the other thing I want to talk about is listen. A lot of people, I think, don't understand what grooming is or why it's bad. Okay? I understand as a society we're having a little bit of a reckoning right now about human trafficking and, like, not just, like, what human trafficking is, which is obviously very bad, but the actual impacts of it, like the way the money flows down and up the chain. And, like, videos of children being hurt, okay? And the little doggies. Okay, once I saw the video of the little doggy, you don't understand. First of all, I still don't think I've processed it, okay? I'm so mad and so sad. You don't do that to a little doggy, and you don't do that to a little kid with a little doggy you don't understand. So I'm really mad about that. That's one example. I've heard the videos get worse. I don't want to see them, all right? They're censored. Like, I'll do the indexing of the prison videos, the security cams. I am not looking at that other stuff. Sorry, I don't care if it's censored or not. It's very traumatic. I'm not looking at it. Someone else can do it. I know people are doing it. God bless them for indexing it. I'm not doing it. All right, but anyway, so I don't think people really understand what grooming is. Like, I think people think of, like prostitution as, like, an expression of autonomy. It's not. It's not. It's human trafficking. Like, I'm not even arguing for regulation of prostitution as a solution to this problem, because that will not work. I'm literally advocating that people stop paying for sex to stop this. Because the whole supply chain is fed by people patroning brothels and people buying sex. Now, obviously, I realize I'm going to fuck up the money. I'm sorry about that. Like, people are really pissed that, like, this whole industry is kind of, like, collapsing. I'm sorry. I'm working on it. I'm going to get the paintings back. from the shell companies. I'm going to try to get the government to put all that wealth in a fund so that all the people who were survivors of victimization can get money from that fund. Like, just like keeping up the sex trafficking because prostitution is lucrative is not a viable solution. It's just going to create more sex traffickers and more Epsteins, okay? So, like, we have to start at the bottom. We, like, as a society, are the reason these evil people can exist. And unfortunately, like, it's not just drugs. Drugs are small scale, like little fish compared to human trafficking. When you go to a brothel, okay, when you go to a prostitute, the problem is not the individual transaction per se. The problem is that there is no way for that economy to exist, regulated or unregulated, without it becoming human trafficking. So, like, we have to talk about that. Because these people aren't just being enabled, the Epsteins, the politicians, whatever. They're not just being enabled because they know people. It's that there's a network of sex trafficking that starts with prostitutes and brothels and flows all the way up. All right? And we got to stop that. Like, we can cut the flow of money off by, as a society, just not doing that. Now, yes, it's going to cause a very large short-term shock to the unregulated sex economy. I'm sorry. It happens all the time. You fix something, it really screws up an existing market structure, and then the money resettles. I don't know what to tell you. We can't perpetuate this because people are making money in small amounts selling sex and calling it autonomy. It's not. It's grooming. It's human trafficking. Like, just because someone receives money from someone like Epstein does not mean they were doing it willingly. I've read so many 302s, bro. You should see the 302s from these 14-year-olds in Florida who were like, yeah, Epstein would have me over like 50 times and he would just throw money at me when he was done. Does that make that person any less of a survivor of victimization? No. So, anyway, I get some sense people are really mad that, like, I disrupted this economy. Not just me, but the whole, like, sort of Epstein economy. But people are really mad that, like, my overarching reform vision that I am effectively implementing with the help of Congress and other governmental institutions that I'm petitioning for redress of my grievances. People are pissed I'm going after the sex trafficking. Like, they are pissed. I don't give a shit. Why would I care? Don't buy people, bro. It's really easy to not buy people. Good morning, Mr. Monk's understudy. Yes, freeze frame pin out. We are doing transcripts. We got. I'm going to try to get through 1,000 pages. Kevin from South Boston. Yes, you don't understand. Hello, Masses Corrupt. Good to see you. Kevin from South Boston. Maybe you do understand. I was already mad when I was looking at some of the Epstein stuff because it was really indicative of, like, I don't know, the CIA enabling pedophilia. So I was pissed off. But then I was like, you know. I'm processing these files. I have to have some emotional distance to be able to do the project. Okay, when I opened the doggy file with the little kid, even though it was censored, I was like, wait a minute. This has gone to another level. This, I cannot, like, just, like, emotionally compartmentalize this anymore. Now I'm mad. Like, you don't understand. I would go to the ends of the earth for one person who got victimized in that way. Add in a doggo. I love doggies. You don't do that to the little doggy, not to mention to a kid with the little doggy. The little doggy doesn't know what he's doing. Oh, then I was like on a righteous path of vengeance. I start praying. I found all that money. I was like, no, I'm just going to ruin these people now. Everyone who enabled them, anyone who touched them, anyone who knew their network, anyone who went to a brothel, anyone who was a pimp in the brothel, I'm just going to ruin everyone. And that's what I did. With God's grace. I took Kathy Rumler down in 7 days. And I was like, who's next? Who's next? Good morning, the one girl, Melly. You have a towel wrench. Thank you so much for coming over from X. Now, everyone's equal here. So I check the ban list every day. You can't really do anything with a towel wrench. It just is part of being in the hierarchy. Hello, Graham Smith. Good afternoon to you in the time zone you're in. That means you're either in, like, Denmark or, like, Greenland or the Faroe Islands or Europe or Asia or Australia or New Zealand. I would say Antarctica, but like, bro, I don't really even know how the time zones work in Antarctica. It's kind of like a polarity situation down there. If you are in Antarctica, please send my regards to the penguins. And can we have a penguin? I want to give it to Emily C. Hello, Lynn Britton. Hello, Illuminatus Prime. I believe it's Epstein, Kevin from South Boston. It's either Epstein or someone sitting next to Epstein. I don't remember who the guy is. I don't want to watch the doggy video again. It made me really easy. It really made me really angry. It made me easily angry, let's put it that way. All right, we're ready to start our transcripts. Everybody ready? We're in the Yuri Buchanan transcript. Good morning, Bunny. Pete, your friend is here, Pete. Where is he? Oh, no, he's buried. Peep, what are you doing? How did you get over there? He fell off his little chair. All right, Bunny. Peep says hello. Peep, I think this has been a very stressful week for the people of the world. I don't necessarily know if it's healthy if you yell about communism today. I think they need to kind of be consoled. You know what I'm saying? This is Peep Bunny Towel. He's an anti-communist towel who fell off his chair. He is an anti-communist Peep Bunny Towel. He's not edible. He's not an animal. He just hates the commies. All right. And whenever Bunny shows up, Peep Bunny Towel kind of hops over here and he just kind of says hello. Now, you might be saying to yourself, that is a stuffed animal. Yeah, kind of. But he's kind of more like an anti-communist symbol. Like he's an anti-revolutionary Peep Bunny. Okay. And as you can see, like Bunny loses her mind whenever Peep Bunny shows up. So if you... Grant's Wrench number 420. I was over it. Welcome over it. It's good to see you with a new name. Yes, this is Peep Bunny Towel. Now, you may be saying, Grant, did you go get this stuffed animal just for Bunny? Yes, I did. Her name's Bunny. This is Peep Bunny. Every time they see each other, they get really excitable. Okay? So, if you've never met Peep Bunny Towel, you can be his friend too. You have to hate the commies, though. Like, it is non-negotiable. You have to want to overthrow every communist regime that remains. He hates the commies. That's his whole thing. Sometimes I complain about other things, and all Peep Bunny Towel wants to come on here and yell about is the commies. All right? All right. Okay, I'm going to get to work now. Yeah, I got to earn some money for lunch. I know. I have to stream every day now. You don't understand, Peep. Like, I really committed to this. Yeah. He says it's stressful. You don't do anything. Yes, he is an anti-communist Peep Bunny Towel. We all love Peep. The new people are going to be like, what the hell is a Peep Bunny? Yes, that is a giant stuffed Peep. That is exactly what it is. He's not edible. He's not an animal. He hates the commies. It's Peep Bunny Towel. All right? Now, he's been coming around for like a year and a half. Nowadays, he only comes around when Bunny comes around because we found out Peggy doesn't actually need to use all caps, so I kind of banished her from the channel. The one girl, Melly, yes, it is Peep. Grant, when you speak of brothels, can you clarify, this is from Freeze Frame Pano, can you clarify if the predators were using massage parlors and or private member massage parlors as cover for sex trafficking? Yes. Especially in, like, Florida, but this area, too. But I'm not talking just about that. I'm talking more about, like, restaurants where, like, there were dorm suites built into the building. And then you, as, like, a cop or a connected person, could go to the restaurant. The working girls would come out, who were basically slaves, with pimps who were cops that would arrest them for fake charges if they tried to get out of line. Then you would, like, kind of, like be able to buy the girl at the restaurant, go to the dorm suite in the back, and then there you go. So it was more than just massage parlors. Think of that as like the lower classes version of access to this network. As you got up in power, like as you made money in the finance world, or if you were a cop or something, you could go to something more like an escort brothel, where it was like, it wasn't a house of prostitution. It was like a restaurant that or a bar that masqueraded, and you could actually use it as a house of prostitution. Now, that was like the mid-tier level. I think for the higher end, like politicians and shit, they got like probably more like catering service where the prostitutes would be brought to them. And so that was kind of like, think like politicians or above. And then The very top was Epstein and the islands and all that stuff. And that was more like child victims. So it was like the higher you got in the predator hierarchy, the different services you got. And like the girls it sucks. Like the victims or survivors would move like up and down. Like you could be in like a high level brothel, which was like a comfortable, quote unquote, relativistic life. But if you screwed up, you either would get charged or go down to like the street pimps, and they are brutal. I've seen this network in action. I've studied it. I kind of didn't really infiltrate it. I just have been around for so long. I've never bought sex. I don't want to. I'm not interested in it. But, like, I'm a reporter. So, like, you're a beat reporter for 10 years in Massachusetts. You're eventually going to see everything under the sun. And, like, I saw how this kind of worked. And it was very rare that you would go up. Like, if you were at the street level, you could not go up to the escort level. Like, it was almost like you could only go down in the tier regulation system. And it's horrible. It's absolutely fucking horrible. It pisses me off. Like, and the thing is, it was very expensive. So, like, it was almost like a line item. These victims or survivors, they would, like, be used to generate income. And then if they, like, got pregnant or, like, whatever, they would, like, be set up with a job outside the house of prostitution. They'd have to keep working at night. They would do the job. And then if they had, like, a baby or, like, anything that made them, like, unable to work for this network, they would, like, either like be passed off to a street pimp or killed, or like any number of horrible things, like chemically addicted. Like you can get someone hooked on drugs like against their will. Like if you just start injecting someone like all the time, like against their will, they're going to get hooked on the drug. You just put them out in the world, they're going to be useless. It's called doing someone the chemical way. But anyway, they were doing this, like the whole network was so sophisticated that it was like a business. Like it was like line items on a budget, each person. And like there were ways to control them, keep them in line. There were ways to like use the pimps, like different levels of pimps. And the higher you got up the chain, like the more intense this became. Like at the street level, it looked like traditional prostitution pimp relationship. As you got to the brothel level, it looked more like police, like using their official positions to control the prostitutes. As you got to like the politician level, it was like girls like going on international trips, getting PhDs, etc. And then as you got to like the Epstein level, it was anything went. It didn't matter if they were children, adults, like whatever. And like the level of beauty, like women weren't looked at. It was mostly women. Women weren't looked at as like people with intelligence who could do things. Like women were looked at, I read some of the transcripts, like as like creatures with less neuron activity in their brain, 10% on average. And so therefore they were like vassals to facilitate genetic reproduction. And they were really mad in particular that like women had like this pelvic floor that made it so that when they gave birth, men's heads couldn't be larger in proportion to their bodies. And as a result, like they wanted to manipulate women's DNA in two specific ways. Like the overarching like female genetic structure, not individualized. They wanted to manipulate the woman's genetics so that the pelvic floor of every woman would be longer, so that when they gave birth, they would be able to have babies with larger heads compared to the size of the body. The other thing they wanted to do, which is so like screwed up, is they were talking about manipulating all women's DNA. I'm not even kidding you. They wanted to change the female biome, basically, so that the back is curved. Like they wanted the female species, almost like a domesticated animal, to have a curved back so that the female like sexual organs would be more presentable during sex. This is what these people were doing. Okay? And it's all like enumerated in the file. So that's why we have to understand, like for us, like plebs, like yes, some of us are very smart, but like when we're purchasing sex, which people should not be doing, it looks like you're just purchasing like a sexual interaction. That is not what you're doing. You're perpetuating this sort of larger commodification of the human, and in particular for the woman, you're kind of participating in this larger project to turn women into like vassals for genetic experimentation, because all of that brothel activity, most of it, all of it is cornered. It's like part of a protection racket, if you think of it that way. So all the money, it looks like it's disparate networks. You're just going to a massage parlor or a brothel or an escort. No, bro. It's flowing up into this larger trafficking pyramid that has very specific goals. Very specific goals, like hurting children, like using networks of power to like get what they want politically, like not get charged, hide money, siphon wealth, keep people enslaved, like run cops as pimps, hurt like all sorts of people. Everything you can imagine, right, is flowing up this pyramid. And it's not like it's sustained by drugs or companies or stocks. Those are offshoots. Those are money laundering fronts for the actual revenue being generated by the commercial pedestrian purchase of sex. Does everyone understand? Hello, Barbara. Welcome. So, if everyone understands that, all right, if everyone can get on the same page, then we just have to ripple outwards this sort of ethos, this belief among ourselves as a people that purchasing sex is harmful. It's not the act of sex that's harmful. It's none of that. It is the purchasing of sex within a larger human trafficking network that has fundamentally put this society on the brink of collapse and enabled Epstein and his like predecessors, his cohorts, his paymasters. It's just the purchasing of sex. And I know it's rough to confront this for a number of reasons. A lot of people are going to be like, what do you mean I can't buy sex anymore? That's the only way I can have sex. Okay. That's the problem. Pause. Stop buying sex. Like, if you are going to think about that tonight, you're going to like make a call. Don't do it. Don't go to the massage parlor. Don't buy sex. If we all just don't do that, this network won't be able to function. There will be no money. Now, I realize there's no panaceas. There's actually a lot of work that's going to have to go into like getting all this money back, clawing it back, getting people out of their jobs who are doing bad things. Like, a lot of private intelligence firms are going to have to be broken up. The CIA is going to have to be called in front of Congress. It's going to be this like fundamental sort of like restructuring of the intelligence apparatus, the financial apparatus, the academic apparatus, the political apparatus. It's all going to kind of slowly restructure. But what's going to like enable that work to be done is people not buying sex. Like, while that work is getting done, like, we all have to talk to each other. Like, it can't be like this taboo thing. Like, we just have to openly talk to each other and be like, please don't do that. Like, do not pay that escort tonight. Do not go to that brothel tonight. Please do not do that. Not because like it's a moral harm to the people you love, if that's like what you're thinking about. No, stop. You just cannot contribute to that network while the rest of us are trying to fix it. Otherwise, everything that we're doing is in vain. If you continue to buy sex, stop buying sex. Stop. And I know, by the numbers, probably like 6 out of every 10 people listening to this are buying sex more than once a week. Stop doing that. We got to get that number down to 0. I know. CIA is going to get in a lot of trouble. They had Kathy Rumler working as the White House counsel. She was CIA. She cannot do that. Thank you, from Nancy from the 508. Did you send it to my email? If you did, please resend it. I might not have gotten it, but I will 100% read it, my friend. Yeah, it is a very heartbreaking thing to confront. And you got to remember, like, say we are kind of like going through a peaceful restructuring of the society, it's going to be uncomfortable. Like, we're going to have to look at things that like make us think about like, were our heroes not who they said they were? John O'Keefe's a good example. Like, there was a lot of hero worship of him, but his texts with Higgins, which were hidden from everyone in the public for 3 years during 2 criminal trials, show like, at the very least, the mention of prostitution, purchasing of prostitution. Now, you can argue whatever you want. Like, there's a lot of people who don't want that sentence about prostitution that John O'Keefe sent to Higgins on 12/18/2021 after the Pats game, when the Pats lost to Indianapolis. 21-17 during a game that started at 8:20 p.m. Anyway, like, then there's the snow stuff. And yeah, there was forecast for snow on the 15th. But, like, come on. Like, the next month, John and Higgins are watching a game again. But, like, also John spending time with that couple that had been accused, like the male in the couple, the Currans, of sending a video to Tom Beatty's underage daughter of the daughter drinking with the adults. Like, I don't know. There's just so many, like, it's not one thing. It's not one interaction, like the joke about the gay guys or whatever. That's kind of weird, but that's a joke. The other stuff, no, that was the most Higgins was willing to turn over. You got to remember, we'll read more about this. Higgins turned over his text after going to an FBI office with his friend who was a DEA agent, or ATF. Higgins was undercover ATF. Higgins, instead of printing out extracting his entire phone and his conversations with Karen and John between November of 2023 or earlier and November of 2021 and January of 2022, Higgins takes selected screenshots, doesn't transcribe all the messages and of his conversations with John, and then prints those out and brings those in and then destroys his phone by obliterating the SIM card and then bringing it to a military base, the phone, and destroying it. Then he got a federal proffer and immunity agreement in May of 2023, May 5th, and testified in front of a federal grand jury under a grant of immunity, limited though it may be, on June 1st, 2023. So, tell me why, and by the way, you don't get that kind of shit if, they're concerned because you destroyed your phone. A federal proffer and limited queen for a day immunity is the kind of thing you get when you have information about the criminal acts of other people and you want to avoid being prosecuted federally. Now, tell me, thank you, Nancy, I absolutely will take a look. Now, tell me, what is the kind of information based on just the stuff that Higgins was willing to turn over in a format that's almost illegible, mind you. The way he turned those texts over, you can only read them if you use specialized software to clarify the fucking DPI of the image. What do those texts, really show? They show even, the best, the lightest, the most favorable to Higgins version. We don't know what was deleted, etc. All of that shows concerning behavior, including a direct mention of prostitutes, solicitation of prostitution, conspiracy to solicit prostitution. These are cops. John was a Boston cop. Higgins was an ATF agent. Okay? And it strongly implies there's drug use, about the snow and all that. It's strong because you don't go gather snow. Higgins and John were talking in code. And then there's very, very obvious indications that there was more interactions between John and Higgins that Higgins did not include that were probably even more damning. All right? The feds don't need your damn phone. Okay? All they need to do is pull your records. I don't know what Higgins gave up at the federal grand jury. I'm starting to think it had a little bit to do with John's death, but it was more about sex trafficking. Do you understand? Matthew Farwell got indicted for Sandra Birchmore's murder under 28 U.S.C. 1153, which is murder of a cooperating federal witness. What was Sandra Birchmore cooperating with federally in February of 2021? There was no John O'Keefe investigation then. You know what was being investigated in February of 2021? Based on the Epstein files, a sex trafficking ring with ties to Avon and Quincy and Stoughton and Dedham and Canton and Norwood. I wonder if Sandra Birchmore was a cooperating federal witness for an ongoing sex trafficking investigation tied to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, and she got murdered by a group of cops who didn't know the feds were investigating them, and now everything is about to come crashing down. Oh, wow. What a shock. Robert Devine and Matthew Farwell are morons and didn't know the feds were on to Maxwell and Epstein, even though they should have, and their network in Massachusetts in 2020 and 2021, and Sandra Birchmore was one of the cooperating witnesses. Oh, I wonder if there are other cooperating federal witnesses who are still alive. Wow. Oh, wow. So that's what happened. They killed someone who was cooperating with a federal investigation. I don't know how John's death fits into it. I will find out. It's not my place to go asking for privileged or confidential documents, and I will not do that. We are going to see indictments about something. I called it. I told you 2 weeks ago, if I was right about all this, then you would start seeing indictments. Okay, immediately, Enrique Delgado Garcia, the people who facilitated his murder, allegedly, were indicted. Multiple cops in the state police. Almost immediately, people started resigning across the country from very powerful positions. And it's not going to stop. Like, there will be an answer as to what happened and who Matthew Farwell was working for. We know it was Robert Devine, who Devine was working for, who they're willing to give up, where the money was, who was the money man here. Was it Devine? Was it someone above him? What was this network doing? Like, were they servicing Democratic politicians? Do you understand? If we can put any Democratic politicians in these, from this state, in those brothels, it's over. It's over. The Republicans may actually win constitutional office in Massachusetts for the first time in decades. Okay, yeah, Romney. Okay, I get you. Like Charlie Baker. We had the occasional Republican governor, but come on. When was the last time? This state was the only state that Walter Mondale won in, what was it, 84, 80, when Reagan won all 49 states. And they stand a chance here. Justice for Enrique Delgado Garcia. You know, he was a victim's advocate. Absolutely, 3-Clerk Monty. He was a victim's advocate in Worcester. And I don't think it's a coincidence. Barney Frank. Oh, yeah. Hold on. Let's open the Epstein files and search for Barney Frank. That's a great idea. Who suggested that? Standing Stones. God bless you, Standing Stones. 1776. Towel loves America. Barney Frank. Oh, yeah. 13 results. Oh, yes. We got Barney Frank. We got him. Good job. You want to just pause our sidebars and just light this guy up? Jeffrey Epstein, 2, from when do you want me to come over and tell you of my elucidating chat with Barney Frank? All right. Who else we got? Come on, give me something else. Richard Kahn to Jeffrey Epstein. Tyra Banks referral. Bart Lose letter. Christopher. Here, I'll just show you what I'm looking at. I'm doing Epstein research. Oh, yeah. Who brought us to here? So we'll get into sidebars in a second. Got to earn my lunch money anyway. Tell your friends, support Little Towel. Donate if you already donated. Let's raise Towel lunch money. Paid for my rental car today already, so we're good there. But we must get Towel lunch money. Yes, this is a public information service. You fund this research. There's no editor. There is, but there's no one to stop me. There's no hierarchy. There's no sponsors. It's Towel. All right? Now, we're looking for Barney Frank in the Epstein letter. So, who is this? I have attached my letters of reference from Tyra, Honorable Rep. Barney Frank, and architects. I touch base with you on your cell phone. Okay. All the best, Ron. Okay, Barney Frank. Dear Les. Oh my God. Oh my God. Jeffrey Epstein was in charge of the Council for Foreign Relations? Okay. Dude, do you all know what the Council on Foreign Relations is? The CFR is like the Trilateral Commission and like the Bilderberg Group, like people. Like the CFR is a very powerful shadow group. Oh my God. I've been waiting for years to find out who is actually running that. Dude. Wow. I'm just one guy. This is incredible. Do you all realize what you're here watching? Watch what happens to this story. You don't understand how long people have wanted to know who ran the CFR. Oh my God. Holy balls. My word. Oh, my word. Oh, wow. I mean, this is a really big deal. Thank you to Standing Stones for encouraging me to look up the name Barney Frank. Holy shit. Holy shit. You ready to take these fuckers down? Dude, this could seriously change some shit up. Wow! Standing Stones, I'm so proud of you. Everybody give Standing Stones a round of applause. Absolutely wonderful job. Standing Stones, you proved that Jeffrey Epstein controlled the Council on Foreign Relations. You don't understand. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I want you to have a medal. Let's give Standing Stones a medal. Good job. You did it, Standing Stones. It's the CFR, the Council on Foreign Relations. It's a very powerful shadow group that's kind of like the Bilderberg group. It's like an international commission of very powerful entities. So I guess since some people don't know what it is, let me like put up an explainer chart and then I'll do a video. Everybody ready? This is a huge deal. I mean, you have to know what you're looking at, but this is a huge fucking deal. I mean, it's almost like unbelievably huge. It's almost like bigger than the Rumler thing. Oh my God. Oh my God. Holy shit. Holy shit. Dude, that is the Council on Foreign Relations. I don't know if some of you understand. Like, when I say, like, that is the Council on Foreign Relations. Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, look at this shit. Look at the people in the CFR. Oh my God. We found it. These are all his people. Excellent job, everyone. Do they receive donations? Donations. The CFR doesn't need donations. It owns things. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. All right, let's do it. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm a little tired. All right. Walter Cronkite towel mode. Everybody ready? A little stretch here. You are here for historic moments, ladies and gentlemen. Excellent job, Standing Stones 116. You can have part of the Pulitzer. All right. No one's going to give me a Pulitzer because my reporting is just so intense. If they recognize me for anything, I would become I'm already an international phenomena. If they recognize me for anything, I think they're worried people would just start like following me around and like doing what I say. So they don't want to do that. Well, too late. I'm going to do that anyway. I've decided I could just walk around and make pronouncements. You don't understand. Just walk around and I say things. I'm just like, hello, I'm Tao. I'm going to go fix that. Call somebody. They do it. It's amazing. You'd be shocked at how many doors I can open now. I used to be able to open a lot of doors. Now, like, there are no doors. You know, I just do things. Still a human, though. I really am just a guy. Like, I get up in the morning, put my pants on, put my shirt on, I go to the Donkeys, different time every day, you know, drink a nice coffee, pretty good. It's like a normal life, I guess. And then, like, I go on the internet, and I, like, post things, and they get a lot of attention. And I, like, sleep, you know, and I eat some food. It's like a normal life, I suppose. You know, call the government, complain to the government, like, does stuff. It's a normal, yeah, I'm just a human. I'm frankly a little baffled, you know, by like the fact that so many people listen to me, you know. So I just kind of go about my business, go about my day, in a little time, respect my authority. My towel authority. All right, let's do it. Enough procrastination. Let's do one recording. Stop. Pause. Hello. My name is Grant Smith Ellis. I'm an independent journalist researching the Epstein files, and I believe I have just found confirmation that Jeffrey Epstein, through his lawyer Richard Kahn, was in charge of the Council on Foreign Relations. Now, this email ID in the Epstein's file is EFTA011892994. All right. Now, you take a look at the Council on Foreign Relations during the Biden administration. It counted members such as Kamala Harris, Anthony Blinken, Janet Yellen, Lloyd Austin, Linda Thomas Greenfield, Cecilia Rouse, Alejandro Mayorkas, Jake Sullivan, Ron Klein, John Kerry, Susan Rice, William Burns, Kurt M. Campbell, Thomas Vilasek, Gina Raimondo, Eric Lander, Jeffrey Zientis. This is just a small list. Take a look at this picture, right? Isn't that wonderful? Look at all the people on the CFR. They like to wear masks. They look powerful. They stand far apart. They're social distancing. They were clearly trying to indoctrinate us to buy into Jeffrey Epstein's theory of the world, which involved very dangerous behavior, as we're all starting to realize. In any event, if you take a look at this letter, it is a letter from someone named Global State Management. And they're writing to Richard Kahn, Epstein's lawyer, letting Mr. Kahn know that they have provided letters of reference from Tyra Banks, the Honorable Rep. Barney Frank, and architects about their application to the Council on Foreign Relations. You can take a look at this very nice letter to Leslie H. Gelb, the president of the CFR, for a recommendation for a man by the name of Ronald Rogers, who has applied for the position of Associate Director of Development at the CFR. Okay, and you can see that Barney Frank thinks that he'll be a great resource. And who does Epstein's lawyer forward the application to? None other than Jeffrey Epstein himself. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, one single email found because I searched the name Barney Frank in the Epstein files as a result of a wonderful suggestion from a towel friend named Standing Stones 1776. That's all it takes, apparently, to confirm that Jeffrey Epstein was in charge, through his lawyer Richard Kahn, of hiring decisions for the Council on Foreign Relations, an international entity with power the likes of which was almost unheard. If it is indeed confirmed that Mr. Epstein was in charge of the Council on Foreign Relations, the organization's time is over. The power structure it enabled is over, and we, as a group of journalists and citizens of this world, have taken another step towards dismantling Jeffrey Epstein's horrid trafficking network that caused harm to so many. $3 billion worth of art yet to be recovered through shell companies. Destruction yet to be rained down on the various police officers and public officials who participated in this behavior. There is more yet to come. My name is Grant Smith Ellis. Find more from me as I break more of these stories. YouTube.com/@GrantSmithEllis. X.com/Grant Smith Ellis. You can support my work. I'm an independent journalist. I don't have an institution behind me. I stream every day. I do this research live. I use education, entertainment, and information to engender cogent public discourse and ward off the usurpation of our representative forms of government worldwide. And if you want to support that kind of work and see more of it, it's only going to happen because of viewers like you. You can support me on Cash App, # Grant Smith Ellis, Venmo @Grant-E1, PayPal.me for the international viewers, PayPal.me/Grant Ellis. Feel free to scan the logos on the screen as well. God bless you. God bless these United States of America, and may the Republic live to fight another day. My name's Grant Smith Ellis. Hell yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Hell yeah. Oh, God bless you, Dina. Thank you so much for your support. I'm so proud of Standing Stones. And I'm so grateful for your support. Dina Warchell, 1325. I am so grateful for your support, and it is my honor to serve my country in this way by helping people learn. It makes me a happy towel. Yay! Okay! All right. I am just so excited. Yes, I like to do a little bit of both. We do, we did the Barney Frank thing and we broke some huge news that'll probably change, a little bit of history. But, I really just want to read court documents, I'm happy I broke this news. I'm pleased. The world deserves to, not have to deal with that shit. But, I'm a towel. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a little towel. All right, let's do some. You want to see me write a post about this? I'm such a towel. I love to write my posts live because I feel like people are a little too reliant on AI. All right, I don't mind if you use AI, but just write a post like this. Okay, ready? I'll show you how to do it. Everybody ready? All right. Breaking news. Jeffrey Epstein, through his lawyer Richard Kahn, Kahn, was in charge of hiring decisions at the Council on Foreign Relations, a hyper-powerful international think tank connected to the likes of Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, and others. Jeffrey Epstein, through his lawyer Richard Kahn, is in charge of hiring decisions at the Council on Foreign Relations, a hyper-powerful international think tank connected to the likes of Kamala. As recently as, hold on, we got to get the email, 2013. While Epstein was a convicted registered sex offender. Oh, dear God, say goodbye to the CFR. I think the CFR's time on this earth has just about come to an end. Time as an institution. Alrighty. I'm so pleased. I've always wanted to get rid of the CFR. Oversaw. I'm going to say oversaw. Because I want to put some siren emojis. You see how you do this, ladies and gentlemen? Alright, then you got to go over here. Okay. This is... Alright. Okay, there we go. And then got to get the video. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so pleased. You don't understand. I was pleased with Kathy Rumler going down, but she's just a Kathy Rumler. It seems like she was a nobody who somebody sent. Not to insult Miss Rumler. I'm sure she's very smart. But, she seemed like an agency woman. Okay? I want the people who paid the agency to do this shit. I'm going to get them. I'm going to get their money and their paintings. I'm going to help the victims. Then they're all just going to be baffled. Because they're like, how is he so disarming but so ruthless? Well, I only do good things. I don't hurt nobody. I don't pay for sex. Don't do drugs, really. Don't drink. Don't do GABAergics. Smoke cigars. Just gotta be a good person. I feel like Epstein and Maxwell, when they were talking to me on Reddit, they're probably like, how the fuck does this kid, just do this? He doesn't, sell out, and he just has these abilities. Oh, I wonder if it's just because he's a good person and never hurt anyone. Yeah, no shit. Wouldn't you look at that? It's if you just don't ever do bad things and are a good person. I'm not saying you don't make mistakes of the mind. Everybody makes mistakes of the mind. You're doing something at work or you're doing something and you just kind of you just don't pay attention. You put a square peg in a round hole. Everybody makes mistakes of the mind. But I don't make mistakes of the heart. I really try not to make mistakes of the heart. If I know something is wrong, I will not do it. Small things, big things, somebody looking, nobody looking, everybody looking, doesn't matter. I don't do bad things. And I think that's part of it. As long you can just be the light in this way, and these things will kind of flow like water through you if you just don't do bad things. If your soul is just very pure, you can just do anything. That's my view on it. That's the best way I can describe it. Because a lot of people are like, how do you do this? As Epstein may well have been funding and running the group for decades. Oh, ladies and gentlemen. What a day. Who else was in the CFR? Should we Google notable members of the Council on Foreign Relations? That's how fast I type. I typed faster than I think. Thank you, everybody, for supporting Towel. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the people who have been sending donations. What? I'll take a look at that. Oh, Nancy, thank you. I'll take a look at that right now. Oh, God bless everyone who's been supporting Little Towel. Let me take a second to look on my phone. You are all wonderful. The international Towel friends love using the PayPal. Thank you so much for your donation. Really means a lot to me. At this point, I'm talking to Towel Lawyer who's trying to get, I keep getting a rental car because I have a car that is mine, but it's not in my possession. And I have to get Towel Lawyer, who's a busy man, okay? It's hard to get Towel Lawyer to do anything. I have to get him to get me this car. So we don't want, Towel Lawyer is very nice, okay? It doesn't charge me a lot of money. He doesn't really do anything to bother me. He's actually very good to me. So we don't want to bother Towel Lawyer. We want him to get me the car. So every day, I tell him listen, I have to go on there, which is unnecessary. I just want to do my work and tell people to send me donations because we don't have this car. And he'll be like, okay. I don't have it yet. So that's what's going on. I don't want the support. I just want to do my work and have enough to live. But I need the support right now because Towel Lawyer's doing things and I don't have a stable car yet. We're on the way. I don't want to buy a car because I have one. I don't want to rent a car. I have to rent one. I don't want to lease one. I have a car. I just need it brought to me. They're working on it. It's this complicated thing. I don't know. I don't understand that whole process. I'm not good with money. I'm not good with assets. Obviously, I just leave it to them. Okay, that's why I have to have a counsel I really trust. I don't know what they're doing. All right, they'll figure it out. Now, who are notable members of the CFR? All right. Oh boy, was Obama ever in it? Oh my God. Oh my dear God. That's a lot of members. I'm pretty sure we found the center of Epstein's power. I'm pretty sure. Notable members of actually let me put under the source. Wow, this is a big deal. Notable members of the CFR over its history include. They're probably gonna be so mad. I don't care though. What do I care? You already sent a demon to my door. I don't necessarily believe it's a demon, but a lot of people online believe it's a demon. So I'm just gonna say I think it's possible it's a demon. You already sent a demon to my door, and I was just you suck. So what are you gonna do? You suck. And I feel they just have meetings, and they're what do we do? This is worse than the movie Network. And then they're I don't think we do anything. I think doing things will make him more mad. And that's true. I'd be a mad little towel. I'd be a pissed off little towel. Oh my God. I wonder if this is Epstein's the whole power network. Damn Epstein. I wonder if Obama was in it. We got to find other people that was in it. You know what I'm saying? Michael Bloomberg was in it. He'd be shit. I don't like Michael Bloomberg. I don't like that other lawyer. That other governor from New York either. Cuomo. There's this nice woman I follow on X, and she says that he did really bad things to her when she worked for him. So I don't know her, but she can be my towel friend, and so I don't like Andrew Cuomo. I don't know her, but she's an honorary towel friend, and you heard her, Mr. Cuomo. I don't know what why you did that, or why she's on Twitter talking about it, because she worked for you, but you heard her, and I'm mad about it. Did bad things, Mr. Cuomo. Bad things. All right. Who else was on this damn thing? I don't know who David Rubenstein is. Blair Efron. There's a lot of fucking people. Damn. Fareed Zakaria. Oh, damn, they own everything, bro. Dude, you people have too much power. I'm mad. I think I object. I object. The current board is... The current board of the CFR is... I wonder if I'm up against CFR. And like, I feel like it's bigger than them. They're just kind of like little towels, you know? I feel like they're bad people, but they're just like little towels. You know, I'm a towel. Former FDA commissioner. How much power do you people fucking need? This is more power than anyone needs. I don't need this much power. Nobody needs this much power. Alright? Like, seriously. Seriously. And if I'm going to do my work, and like if you all worked for Epstein, okay, we got a problem. Okay, there's a lot of very powerful people. It's like the whole world. I think we should take all these people down. Anyone object? Margaret Brennan. She's like on CBS and shit. I remember Margaret Brennan. She used to report on the news. I never really trusted her. She looked like she was an agency woman. Bro, I can see an agency man or woman from like a mile away. They're so like specifically trained. They look like fucking like movie stars. That's why I knew something was up with my mom. My sister thought, like, one of my older sisters, well, I'm the oldest, but one of my sisters who is older, like, back in the day, like, one time was like, I think mom's a spy. And I was like, I don't think she's a spy. I think she's an intelligence asset. And like, yeah, bruh. She looks like one of them, like, Katie Couric types, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing beneath the soul. It's just a fucking, like, appearance, like, she's like a witch. Like, she can ensorcel people with her words. I learned the word ensorcel the other day. Now I just say it all the time. No one should have taught me that word. Ensorcel is a very good word to use when you just want to be a little town. Alright, we got a lot more people to go. There's so many fucking people on this thing. Dude, this is like a list of the most powerful people I've ever seen in my entire life. It's so many people, I don't even know what to do with them all. Like, seriously, I think William Hurd was like a fucking like CIA dude, wasn't he? I gotta like fill in some of these people's descriptions. They have so much damn power, they don't even have the damn descriptions on the Wikipedia. You don't understand. This is the entire world's power structure. Oh my dear God. What have we done? What have we done? All thanks to the one super towel, Standing Stone, 1776. And they're probably like, all I wanted you to do was look into Barney Frank. Yeah. Yeah, bruh. Yeah, bruh. Sometimes that's all it takes, you know what I'm saying? Now, formatting is important. I like to do... See? Trilateral Commission. I told you. Trilateral Commission, Bilderberg Group. I'm going to get these guys. I'm going to get them. Listen, if I brought down Kathy Rumler, I'm going to do it to them. You got to all resign. We must disband the Council on Foreign Relations. You watch. I'm going to take it down. If I pull this off, I want some kind of Pulitzer. I'm serious though. Like at a certain point, if I actually pull this one off, we gotta like give Towel an award. All right, I don't really want an award. I just want to stand up there and give a speech where I troll the fuck out of a national audience, and I think it will be fucking hilarious. Can you imagine me up there just trolling people, getting an award? Thank you for this award. Let me tell you why you're all terrible and why I love the peoples. Let me tell you about the movie Metropolis from 1929. And also why I am a towel. All right, who are you, William Hurd? I feel like you were a CIA dude. I remember that name. Who is he? Oh, he was a former U.S. representative. I think he was CIA too. Yes, I've undertaken covert CIA missions. I told you I knew dude was CIA. I have an encyclopedic memory. American politician and clandestine officer who served in the U.S. House of Representatives. Dude, I don't think CIA people should be allowed to run for office. I'm sorry. For the Texas 23rd Congressional District. How dare you? How dare you? I'm mad. I'm mad. You can't be CIA. Margaret Brennan, are you CIA? I swear to God, if Margaret Brennan is CIA, I'm going to be so mad. Margaret Brennan is an American journalist who's currently the moderator of Face the Nation. Margaret Brennan! Damn it, Margaret Brennan! Are you Margaret Brennan? I am mad. Margaret Brennan, my name is Grant Smith Ellis. It's good to meet you. Bring me on for an interview. We have to talk about whether you are in the CIA and funded by Jeffrey Epstein. And you could tell me all you want. You're not. Well, I found the damn email, so now you got to answer to me. Okay? You are a towel. I object. I object. I object. All these people are connected to Jeffrey Epstein. And I want a Pulitzer. Margaret Brennan, are you going to stop me from getting a Pulitzer because you're part of this? I have to have a conversation with Margaret Brennan. I'm sending her an angry email. How dare you, Margaret Brennan? Who the fuck is this person? Marquio Silver? I've never heard of you. The Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts? What the fuck's the Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts? Oh. You got a doctor from Harvard. What do you do with your life? You were the president of Bennington College. I wonder if Epstein did anything. Her mother was a senior deputy chairman at the National Endowment for the Arts. She's chair of the board of trustees at Mass Museum of Contemporary Art. Oh, bro, you got to step down. I'm sorry, Miss Silver. I got to contact MoMA. You can't be involved if you were working for an organization where Jeffrey Epstein controlled the hiring decision. All these people are going to have to step down. I'm sorry. All right. I'm mad. Why does this keep happening? Like, seriously, if every one of these people was working for him, they all have to step down. I'm mad. And they're like, why are we being taken down by a man who thinks he's a towel? Well, because that's what you deserve. I'm a lowly utilitarian object. I'm not a nightingale. I'm a towel. Damn. She was like in charge of like changing the direction of American higher learning. Oh, this is bad. Who's Amy Zagart? Having no information makes me more interested in who you are. Oh, she's from Stanford. She's an American political scientist serving at the Hoover Institution. Oh. Wow, you got a lot of power. Listen, Jeffrey Epstein, this is why Jeffrey Epstein might be alive, bro. He could just call these people and like be like, bro, I'm trying to like get out of here, you know? Who the fuck's Blair Efron? No, who's David Rubenstein? Wonder if this dude's in the Epstein files. I bet he is. I bet they're all in the Epstein files because this is his center of power. He's an American businessman who co-founded the Carlyle Group. That sounds powerful. Well, go fuck yourself. He also owns the Baltimore Orioles. Well, I'm a Red Sox fan, so fuck yourself. Haha. Baltimore Orioles. I haven't liked the Orioles since Cal Ripken. Please, get out of here. I'm going to call him David. Nice to meet you, David. I'm a towel. Call Kathy Rumler. Be like, who's this towel dude? She'll be like, oh, I wouldn't mess with towel dude. He's got friends. And if you send a demon to his door, he'll just banish the demon. He doesn't like demons. That's true. I don't like demons. My God, they got the Baltimore Orioles. Listen. We have to liberate the Baltimore Orioles. Ladies and gentlemen, I am on a mission to liberate the Baltimore Orioles. And you might be saying, sir, you cannot single-handedly liberate the Baltimore Orioles. Yes, I can. I'm going to run a poll. I am going to run a poll. Can Towel single-handedly liberate the Baltimore Orioles? How do you spell Orioles? O-R-I-O. That's a hard one. Yes, I believe in you. No, I am not a towel. What the hell is going on? Okay, I put a poll up. Can I single-handedly liberate the Baltimore Orioles? Okay, do you all believe in me? Are some of you utterly baffled by what we're doing right now? I think we just took down like the entire American aristocracy. Okay, the early results are that 57% of you believe in me. That's a very strong number. Oh, this is a ferocious battle. There's a lot of votes going on in the poll. It's not even an even number, and the poll's been up for like a second. All right. You all vote away. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. Most of you are confused, okay? The very early results, literally within like 5 seconds, the flash poll, it's a tie between what the hell is going on and yes, I believe in you. Listen, we're liberating the Baltimore Orioles. I don't have time to explain. Tell Kyle, tell Emily C., tell the Trial Channel, tell Dee Dee, get the chickens, get the penguins, get none of your business, and a boat. We're liberating the Baltimore Orioles. That's like one thing we're doing. I think we're going to liberate other things too. But I've proven that Jeffrey Epstein was basically in charge of the Council on Foreign Relations and hiring. You don't understand? We're going to take them all down. I'm getting them. I'm going to get them. How dare you? How dare you? I am so mad. Damn Democratic Party. They're all Democrats. They're fucking commies. I knew it was a commies. Fucking commies. Damn commies. I hate the damn commies. I really do. They're all commies. It's fake communism, though. It's like, tell the working class to be communists so they think that we're not screwing them. Yeah, well, I know what you're up to, you damn commies. I hate the commies. They wanted me to be a Democrat. I was like, no. Why am I talking this way, by the way? Because it's the only way I can deal with the emotional overwhelm of this shit. She's in the CIA! Oh, no! Oh, no! Alright. Oh, my God. You can't be in the CIA and run Lehman Brothers. Oh, no. Oh, no. What has happened? They've taken over everything. They run everything. This is horrifying. This is literally horrifying. I've never seen anything like this in my entire life. And it was all Epstein. Oh, my God. I demand my country back. I'm an American towel. Damn commies. I know he's the current president. Oh, he's an Obama man. Damn Obama man. I knew it was Obama. Obama was definitely like, oh my God, he was a bad man. No wonder Towel Grampy hated him. Obama was actually a bad man. He's doing bad things. Damn, bruh. List of members of the CFR all time. I want the whole list. Give me the whole list. Oh my God. It has 5,300 members. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. It has 5,291 members. Per secondary sources. Oh my God. Oh my God. There's a private database of members. Thomas Jefferson 1976 on WordPress has it somewhat documented. Oh my God. Oh my God, it's a huge list. Oh, wow. Okay. Find a full list of members as of 2013 and prior here. This is incredible. This is one of the most incredible things I've ever done. I'm almost like honored to do this. It's honest to God, one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. Dude, they were at the Paris Peace Conference. Oh my god. It has a revenue of 69 million. Oh my word. I've never seen anything like this in my life. How did he get in charge of this? Oh my word. Oh my god. I think this is bigger than the Rummler story. I can't believe this. This is one of the most powerful organizations I've ever seen. Holy shit. Bro. I am incredibly impressed with Standing Stone 1776. I'm giving you a hat tip, bro. Hat tip to my wonderful friend and colleague, Standing Stones 170, for encouraging me to search the term Barney Frank on the DOJ Epstein files website, which in turn led to the discovery of this of the email at the center of this post. God bless you, Standing Stones. You're a now. Let me get my citation. I gotta do a citation, okay? We can't just be not citing. We gotta cite. Does it have an author? Sharon Bitter. No, that's a quote. Who actually runs this? We're just gonna put it, the author, as heinrichs.org. Got it. I'm going to copy it. Okay. And then look at how you do this, right? After you cite like a quote, you have to put the source, okay? And like a block quote, normally the source goes like this, like right after the source, okay? And then we're going to move the actual Epstein file source right up under the lead. No one wants to like click around. They just want to see the proof. Then they'll read your story. All right, we're ready. Everyone ready? I got to get the siren emojis. Now I got to make sure the lead fits in a post, and then we're ready. I got to get the siren emojis are very important. You don't understand. If you don't see a siren emoji, it might just be a regular news update. If it's a big news update, you can see a siren emoji. All right. Okay, like that. And then we got to see how much stays above the fold when we do the post. So we did this. We did this. All right. All right. We're ready. Everybody ready? Yeah, I'm telling you, these people, like, we just took down it's also code for Code of Federal Regulations. We just took down a huge group. All right, I'm clicking the button. This is bigger than yesterday. This is a big day. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do I have to put anything else about analysis? When was it founded? 1 second. I gotta be specific. $1921. That dates back to the Paris Peace Conference following World War I. Dude, these people are dangerous. They took over the whole country. It's my country. It's our country. They can't just take the country. What about America? You don't understand. I like America. You can't just take America. Dude, they took the whole country. They have control of everything. And Epstein was like their person. They have literally every company, every government agency. Dude, we need Congress. That's the only people who can untangle this. You don't understand? This is the most powerful group of people I've ever seen in my life. And I know some powerful people. If you put me in a room with these people, I would actually be outmatched intellectually. I mean, I could probably like be one of the smarter people in the room, but these are some very powerful people. They're lazy, though, a little bit. Like, they would not say they're lazy, but they're intellectually lazy. I bet they don't know as much about American history or stuff like that as I do. Like, they thrive on not being the smartest person in the room, so they become smarter. But the peril of that is, like, if you run into someone who actually knows more than all of you, you're kind of screwed. All right, let's do it. Any suggestions from chat? Let me go over here. Grant, should we get uniforms or a signature accessory? Is this more of a stealth operation? No, I think what you should do is just share this post. I'm going to share it in chat. Ready? Dude, this is going to be a big deal. It's a big problem. Like, it's a big problem. Politically. Here. Post. Hold on. Alright, we can do some sidebars now. So there you go. This is going to be a big deal, though. Like, that was very hidden. No one, I think, has reported on this. It's a huge deal. It can bring down that organization. Sidebar. Who's ready to do sidebars? We'll do, I don't know, 500 to 1,000 pages. Depends on how many donations come in. If I get lunch by, like, 1, that's fine. I already got a super chat, so that's good enough. Alright, let's see what we can do. It's a day-to-day thing. Yesterday was rough. Today's a little better. Alright, let's do it. This is Yuri Buchanan's direct. So what we're doing is going through Yuri Buchanan's direct and looking for sidebars. Sidebar! This is when Yuri was going to remove an item from the bag. Let me blow my nose. Had to get some hand sanitizer. All right. All right, let's do it. Smells like rubbing alcohol. Yeah, Rubenstein runs it, and David Rockefeller was like the founder. So we took, like, that's going to be a big deal. Those people can't be involved. Like, they let a registered sex offender hire people for their organization in 2013. Probably later than that, too. It's game, set, and match. Once people start digging on that, they can't operate. They had a registered sex offender doing hiring decisions. It's over. I'm serious. Like, it's really over. Which is good. That was a powerful group. They needed a little reality check. They're going to be kind of pissed, though. 125 years. Yeah. Good a time as any to shut it down. Another day. All right. What's next? All right. Whereupon there's a sidebar. We are on page 1004 of 5481. Now let me get you this here document. I'm going to get you the sidebars link. You want to be careful with this, though. I'm not sure, Bowl in the Cup. You can absolutely look. He's a very powerful man. He runs some very powerful advertising agencies, okay? Now, I just linked the sidebar. This time I linked the correct link. Yesterday I linked it to my local file. But anyway, this is the Google Drive link. If you click it in the link I just if you clicked what I just shared in chat, you will get a 5,481 page PDF. So first of all, it's only 336 megs on disk, but if you open this on a device that doesn't have a lot of memory, like, it's going to crash your device. If you can't run, it will at least crash the PDF reader. You need to have like 1.6 gigs of accessible RAM to open it. Once it's open, it doesn't really overload the system memory, but it's like to open a 5,000 page PDF, you need a little bit of RAM. You cannot open it on like a 2010 Potato. It will not work. All right, but yeah, I scanned all the PDFs. This comes from a so these sidebars were never supposed to be public, which is why they're so interesting. It comes from a FOIA that Marbury v. Madison, who's Corey Hopkins, a business litigator from North Carolina, put together. And then on Friday last, so 3 days ago, they were compelled to be released. Spacey, if JFK's David Rubenstein, if the JFK guy from that show is David Rubenstein, we're all in a lot of trouble. And I don't know what he's doing hanging out, like, on the streets of Boston. But, like, okay, bro, like, everybody likes to, like, cosplay, I guess. I mean, I'm a freaking towel. All right, let's do it. Sidebar, page 1004, 5481. Mr. Jackson, my issue, now that we've started to go through this, is this officer did not bag these items. His name is not on the items. His handwriting is not on the items. And some of the items, for instance, the orange t-shirt, why, I'm confused. Why it's confusing. That's not the bag that orange shirt came in. That's been completely changed. That orange shirt and the gray shirt were bagged together, and that's the only evidence I've got. I've got a bag that says orange shirt and gray t-shirt. Reverse that. Orange t-shirt and gray sweatshirt bagged together by former trooper, now civilian Proctor. And now we've got other bags, and I don't know who. I can't see that far. I don't know who bagged these. If there was... The court, what do you say? Turning to Mr. Lally. Mr. Lally, Your Honor, as far as when the items were initially bagged, this witness was present for when that occurred. This witness was also present when counsel was present in our office when counsel came in to view these items, and they were all... Mr. Jackson interrupting. No, he was not there. Mr. Lally, he was. The court, go ahead. Mr. Lally, yes, he was. The court, finish your... Mr. Lally, and these items were bagged as they are now at that time as well. So I don't know what the surprise is. Mr. Jackson, well, I didn't see anything. Bag to back up. Back up. I was at the office to look at the clothing. They were cut open and placed back in the same bag that they were cut open from. They weren't changed. The bags weren't changed. This is the first time I've seen Buchanan in person in my life. And if he was in the office, he may have been in the office. He was not in that room. Mr. Lally, he was in that room. Mr. Jackson, Tully was in the room. Mr. Lally, Tully was in the room. Chris Moore was in the room. Sergeant Buchanan was in the room. Sergeant Buchanan left at some point when the items were taken out because he accompanied Miss Gaffney and Trooper Carino but he was both present at the Foxborough Barracks when we were there with the vehicle, and he was present in the conference room in the office when all of these items were taken out of the bags. And he wrote a report in regard to that. Mr. Jackson, okay, my issue is, I'm not discounting that. There were a lot of people in the room, and I don't discount Mr. Lally's memory. Mine may be faulty. I don't know where the original bag is that Mr. Lally showed yesterday with a different witness. It's not that bag. That is my issue, is how did this get rebagged? I mean, the bags are important in this case, but some cases they're not. In this case, they are. The court. All right. You're not disputing this is the orange t-shirt. Mr. Jackson, no. The court. All right. So let's put this in, and then we can figure out after how you go about it. Mr. Jackson, this is a chain of custody issue. The court, yes. This won't go into evidence at this point. It may well be that you have to do it through cross. Mr. Jackson, right. Okay. I just wanted to note it. Thank you. The court, okay. Whereupon the sidebar concluded. How was that for a dramatic reading? See how much fun I had with that one? I was just going in there. Yeah, let me just tell you, I think the game was rigged against Alan Jackson. Him and I got to have lunch. Does he smoke cigars? Alan, let's do it. You, me, lunch. I don't do the Seaport though, bro. We got to go to like McDonald's. Can you imagine me and Alan Jackson eating lunch in a McDonald's? How fucking great would that be? You don't understand. Like, wouldn't you like pay to watch that? Like, him and I in a McDonald's, like him being like, what the fuck are we doing in a McDonald's? And I'd be like, bro, you got to understand, like President Trump goes to McDonald's, a different one all the time, because they don't know he's coming. You see what I mean? They can't fuck with your food. And it's like consistent. It's always the same. Like, probably not the most healthy shit in the world, but like, bruh, it's calories, you know? And he'd be like, Grant, this is not a steakhouse. And I'd be like, I know, bro. I don't do that shit. We're in a McDonald's. It's hilarious. Position, juxtaposition, you know? Setting versus like substance. It's hilarious. Hagel would think it's hilarious. He'd be like, you like are a lot. And I'd be like, I know. You are too, I bet. Let's go. I'm just telling you. Me, Alan Jackson, in a McDonald's for lunch. Ideally, a McDonald's with a smoking section. I don't think they have those anymore. Am I allowed? You know what? I should write a law that allows me to open a McDonald's where I can smoke. And then I'll just like sit there and have business meetings. How funny would that be? But no, that's a bit of a problem because I'd be at the same McDonald's all the time. All right, I got to own like 20 McDonald's, not for the money. The money can all go to whatever cause. Like, I'll figure that out. I don't want any money from it. I just want a bunch of McDonald's I can go sit in at random times for business meetings and smoke. And the only way I can do that is if I own the McDonald's. And then I got to talk to the local town. I could be like, listen, it's technically a consumption venue, but only for me. Like, I just go in there and smoke. Like, they'd be like, what? Be like, I can't. Just go along with it. It's important. They'd be like, Grant, why do you want to do this? Well, I want to troll Alan Jackson. You are buying 20 McDonald's so that you can have one business meeting with Alan Jackson and smoke a cigar with him and troll him. Yeah. They're okay. No. You don't understand. Alan does not get home court advantage. We're not going to no restaurant where I got to know what way to turn the freaking fork to tell the waiter, like, I want my dessert. Or, like, whatever the fuck. Bro, I don't do that shit. Do you know perfunctory? Like, manners for polite conversation are fine, bruh. But, like, I don't need to know the salad fork, the soup fork, the stupid spoon, the thing you gotta turn. I don't want these, like, bastards taking my food if I turn my spoon the same way, like, the wrong way. You don't understand. When my mom and my dad got married, Towel Nana went to dinner with them, okay? They were at some restaurant, God knows where the hell where downtown. And my Nana is just a regular Towel Nana, okay? She don't go to no fancy restaurants. That's not her Towel Nana thing. She likes, like, the Chateau, okay? Or Olive Garden. In fact, Olive Garden is her favorite restaurant. I love it, too. It has breadsticks. Anyway, so Towel Nana is like getting the news, okay, about my mom and dad getting married. So this has got to be like probably like fall 1989, okay? And my Nana, who is just a simple woman, okay? Like, she did some cool shit down the lake, and then she worked for, like, Lotus, and then she knew the president of IBM, and I don't really remember. It was a lot of complicated shit. She worked near the Cambridge Side Galleria. I don't remember the context of Towel Nana being all, like, techie or whatever. But the point is, you know, so she goes to this dinner, and they ask her in the beginning of the dinner if she wants a souffle. Now, if you don't know what a souffle is, it's like a very specific dinner that's like a dessert that's very hard to cook. Like, it's made to order, and you have to, like, cook it exactly right or it won't, like, poof up. I'm not a fucking chef. I'm a towel. But the point is, Nana really, like, had never gotten a souffle, so she didn't understand the concept, like, first. And second of all, it's not about the souffle. So at the beginning of dinner, she orders the souffle. She tells the story all the time. She orders the souffle, and she's just waiting for this souffle the whole dinner. And at the very end, the waiter comes to, like, give her a souffle. She picks up the spoon to take, like, a bite. And then my mom and dad say to her, "We're getting married." This causes Towel Nana, like, to, like, gasp, okay? To do that, she has to put her spoon down on the fucking plate. She accidentally puts the spoon down in the direction, like, if you put your spoon on a dessert tray in a specific way, you are signaling to the waiter without talking that you want it taken away. It's like on $100 souffle in, like, 1989. She puts the spoon down, they take the souffle. For 37 years, she has been mad about that. I'm telling you, she will... Hello, Nikki Undercover. My Towel Nana, like, to this day, is like, I will never understand why those pompous bastards, when you put your fork down, they take your shit. I don't understand. I'm like, Nana. It's a whole, like, ritual with the forks and the salad fork and the soup fork and the dessert spoon. And, like, it's very hierarchical. And the idea is, like, the staff is below you so they don't make eye contact with you unless you make eye contact with them. And, like, you don't talk to them. You signal them. And there's, like, a rule of the game. And you're not, like, given a fucking card. You have to know the etiquette. And she was like, well, that's stupid. And I was like, I know, Nana. So, anyway, my point is, I hate that shit. I'm not going to no steakhouse where I put my, like, spoon the wrong way and they take my souffle. No, AJ. We can go to McDonald's. We will sit there and talk about Hegel, and you can, ponder the metaphysical implications of the position juxtaposition of form versus content, as embodied in us eating lunch in a McDonald's. It's fucking hilarious. It's better than the form and content of Hegel's philosophy meeting at Stalingrad on the Volga in 41. Instead, it's me and Alan Jackson in a McDonald's. Karen could come too, just so I control her a little bit about Hegel. And she can be like, I know about Hegel. And I'd be like, oh, do you really know about Hegel? When did you read Phenomenology of Spirit for the first time? She's going to be like, what are you? An encyclopedia of all human knowledge in every book ever written? No, I don't read every book. There's a lot of nonsense out there. I read a lot of, like, German philosophy from, like, the 1700s. I read a lot of, like, American presidential philosophy. I read a lot of, like, I listen to a lot of transcripts of Senate testimony from the 73 Watergate hearing with Senator Irving. Really like that one. Sam Dash was a really good counsel. If I ever have a committee, I'm going to get a counsel and make him ask questions to people. I want to be like Senator Irving. But I kind of feel like that's, like, he got to a good position, but, like, I want to have a little bit of a bigger towel gavel. I need, like, 400 government departments that I can keep an eye on, and then I also want to monitor that, like, $3 billion fund, if we can liquidate Epstein's art held through holding companies. I think we probably got to arrest Leon Black to make that happen, but he just got to give up the money. Like, if he actually hurt kids, that's, like, a criminal system issue. I don't want to deal with that. My concern is the paintings. Give me the damn paintings, and I want those paintings from the Isabella Stewart Gardner heist. All of that said is, you know, a Watergate committee would be kind of fun, but I don't really want to do that. What I would like to do is monitor 400 government departments, and then find out what they're doing wrong, and then yell at them, and then be like, let's take Canada. And then I want to do that just because I want Kyle to be like, oh no, he's actually going to take Canada just because we raised the flag over Detroit in 1812, and there's nothing we can do to stop him. And then I'd be like, yeah, fucking Canadians. Blame Laura for that one. I'm sorry. She won't admit to me that she's a vengeful librarian, so I have to conquer Canada. There's not going to be a debate about this. No amount of goats will appease me. Nothing will stop me. No towels will appease me. Nothing. You won't be able to distract me. I have to make Kyle and Laura admit, and Dee Dee, that they are vengeful librarians. They know what that means. And until they do, I'm conquering Canada. I will take over Canada just so we can pull like a 1979 like Iranian coup by analogy, and I can conquer the headquarters of the vengeful librarians in Canada. I'm going to get their files. I'm going to release them so I can prove that Kyle and Dee Dee and Laura are actually vengeful librarians. Now, all of you might be saying to yourself, Grant, are you using vengeful librarian as some kind of code? Obviously not. What are you talking about? I would never do such a thing. That would be appropriating the tactics of the intelligence community to hide in plain sight and troll 3 people in Canada. I would never do that. Why would I do that? That's highly specific. Why are you even asking that question? Yeah, the Leon Black painting stuff is really my only concern. The criminal elements of the Leon Black thing, that's a justice system issue. Okay, back to the Yuri Buchanan cross. Who's ready for more wonderful sidebars? Grant, how do you feel about Gerard Dutroux? How about Kant's moral theory? So I haven't read Dutroux, so Kant, I really like Immanuel Kant. I'll do this quickly. So I think Kant's categorical imperative is kind of the embodiment of a secular reformation for the Enlightenment of Jesus's worldview. Kant was raised in a pious religious school, and he was very interesting as a man. He was a privandant in Königsberg, which is now Kaliningrad, the exclave oblast that belongs to Russia, that's like right at that like important gap near the Baltic Sea. So anyway, Kant was a privandant in Königsberg under the like German Empire, and so he had a commission directly from the king to be a professor. Now, what's so fascinating about Kant's moral philosophy is if you look at like the groundwork for the metaphysics of morals, the critique of pure reason, the critique of practical reason, all of which I've read, it's all a really good way to understand like a basic premise, which is like at least a moral philosophy, which is like act in a way only that you can will your decision to be a universal moral law for all people to follow at all times. Which is fine, but the classic saying in philosophy is you can't become a philosopher without first becoming a Kantian. Like the categorical imperative is a great stepping stone to understand the constellation of historical forces that emerged at the time of like Kant's death, which was about the time of Hegel's birth. So to really understand Kant, you have to take his very immature international political philosophy from the essay Perpetual Peace, which is part of the book or lecture series Theory and Practice. So you want to, like, the end of Kant's life was kind of a shift from his, like, metaphysical moral philosophy about what is, like, universal moral law, why do we call a chair, whatever. It shifted to more like practical political philosophy in a very short essay called Towards Perpetual Peace in the English, which is part of Theory and Practice. So if you want to read Perpetual Peace as like a foreshadowing of the emergence of international relations as a domain of like universalized moral theory, that's a very good way to start with Perpetual Peace. But it's a very immature international philosophy. He predicts what we would know as a confederation of nations, like an early UN or an early, whatever you want to call it. What did Wilson want to do in the 14 points? That like weak early version of the UN. I actually want to know what that is called. Let me, it's important to me. What was the first version of the UN called? It failed because of the Paris Peace Conference. The League of Nations. That was Wilson's idea with the 14 points. So Kant kind of like predicted the emergence of like a post-multi, like polar world order, but in a very like innocent, like immature, you'd call it like philosophically immature way. So to understand like the bridge from like Kantian, like practical moral political philosophy to like the emergence of like the modern form of international relations as you know them today, you have to kind of look a little bit backwards, because what Kant was doing was he was writing about 120 years after the Westphalian Peace of 1648. Now, in 1648, the modern nation state as we know it emerged due to like a very complex like settlement of a European conflict that you can watch a Monty Python skit about. But like the Westphalian Peace of 1648 is like the transition from like dynastic, like Abrahamic religious based world orders in the West to more like secular, not secular, like a like bridging of the gap between like secular, like humanistic like states, like nation states, and like religious like empires, if that makes sense, like fiefdoms to like sovereign nation states, kind of like an appeasement mechanism to ward off the like horizontal consequences of the Protestant Reformation and Martin Luther's kind of like letter and King Henry VIII doing the whole thing with the like creation of the Church of England around that time. It was kind of like an appeasement mechanism for an unsettled like polity who didn't like the conventional like European fiefdoms under like the theory of like a religious monarchy. So anyway, like a divine right monarchy. It was the transition from like divine right monarchies and the feudal system to like the modern like pre-industrial form of economies and nation states we know today. It doesn't really, like Kant was writing like right in this really fascinating period between the emergence of that like secular nation state or its transition into a secular nation state around the world, or at least in the West. Right between that and 1648 and like the emergence of the Industrial Revolution, which really came about after like oil was discovered on like a river in Pennsylvania, okay? Like it like between like 1648 and like 1860 was a very like turbulent time in the history of the world, because it was like Kant's Enlightenment values, speaking broadly, superimposed on like a very like unstable world in the form of modern nation states. But you have to look a little bit more forward to understand, like, it's not just Kant. Kant is like, with Hobbes and Rousseau and Machiavelli and Locke, Kant is kind of like the emergence of like modern international political theory. You have to take like Kant's Perpetual Peace, reframe it through the lens of Hegel, in particular the book Reason and History. I recommend the Robert S. Hartman translation. The intro is really, really good. But you have to take it, interpolate it through Hegel's historical dialectic, right, which is the form of thesis plus antithesis equals synthesis. And then as you interpolate that through Hegel's dialectical form, you will get to John Rawls in 1972. What you should do then is read like John Rawls's Theory of Justice from 72. You have to understand, in particular, the 1985 Dewey lectures that Rawls gave at MIT, because you're going to find out that like Rawls takes Kant and Hegel's political philosophy on the international level and embodies it into this sort of overarching theory. But he ends up being like an accidental apologist for like unipolar cultural hegemony in the name of like Western values. So he realizes that's going to be a problem. He kind of foresees the emergence of like Francis Fukuyama's End of History, and the way like Huntington's Clash of Civilizations in the late 80s, early 90s was going to be appropriated by the Rumsfeld and Cheney folks who were involved with like the Project for a New American Century. So Rawls kind of has this like aha moment in 85 at the Dewey lectures. And in 89, he kind of rewrites Theory of Justice into a book called Political Liberalism. Now, you have to understand what's called Rawls's political turn in 85 to understand like the emergence of sort of the two views of modern international relations. One view, like pre-Rawls 85, is like there is like a hegemonic form of liberalism that goes around to, it's not liberalism as in like democracy, it's like Western thought compared to Eastern thought. So like there's a classic form of like Western imperialism that says like you create a strong country, you have like corporations that make a lot of money, you have a specific form of economy, you go to other states which are called like rogue outlaw states. You take them over, you appropriate their means of production, and you encompass it into an empire in the service of your unipolar worldview. Post 85, okay, so that's like the Rumsfeld-Cheney view. Post 85, Rawls's view is what's called like overlapping consensus and reasonable pluralism. And Rawls says like we need an international order where like you have like a set of rules of the game. He calls it like toleration as a buffer in the public sphere. You have rules of the game, and then you have like states that don't play ball. States that try to play ball, he calls them decent consultation hierarchies. States that try to play ball, you be nice to them, but you don't overthrow them. States that are like North Korea, like rogue outlaw states that will not conform to like any semblance of human decency or norms, you overthrow them like or by any means necessary. Rawls's political turn leads to a book he writes at the end of his life in 97 called The Law of Peoples. And in The Law of Peoples, there's like a great, it's kind of like a Kantian like full circle moment where much like Kant when he transitioned from writing the groundwork and the critique of pure and practical reason to writing Perpetual Peace, Rawls's Law of Peoples is like an homage to Theory and Practice from Kant to Perpetual Peace. And he lays out like a more mature vision for embodying the Kantian categorical imperative into a practical political philosophy informed by the developments up till like 92 with the fall of the Soviet Union. The problem with Rawls's theory in Law of Peoples, and this was what my dissertation was going to be about if I didn't become disabled, I'm a subject matter expert in this. The problem with Rawls's theory is that what it is it relies in Chapter 8 of the Law of Peoples on the United States Supreme Court being the embodiment of what Rawls calls public reason. Rawls says that Supreme Court decisions are the exemplar of sort of public reason made manifest. Like what the people are talking about is reflected in the decisions of the Supreme Court. It's not. He got that wrong. Public discourse is the best indicator of public discourse. And so what I did for my graduate project is I developed a quantitative methodology to examine the cogency of public discourse as an indicator of political legitimacy within liberal republics. And what that means is it was like very early in the internet, probably like 2011, I developed a quantitative methodology that was based on analyzing API data, geo-fenced API data from social media platforms. So I would, like very simply, I would populate a word cloud based on everything that the people in Massachusetts said between like November 1st, like 2009 and November 1st, 2011. So that's one word cloud. And a word cloud is like a square box where the words that are used most often show up the most frequently. It was using a very early version of something called natural language processing in order to put into a visible image what the public in Massachusetts was talking about on social media over those 2 years. Then I go and I grab the congressional record from those exact 2 years. And I have to get the congressional record in Massachusetts, the speeches made in public by politicians. I have to get things like the politicians' social media posts. And I take all of those, right? And then I put those in a word cloud. Okay. Now, those two word clouds can be overlapped into a Venn diagram, and you can parse out the things that don't overlap, the words that do not overlap, and the words that do overlap. The degree of overlap between those two word clouds, what the public is talking about and what lawmakers are talking about, is the exemplar of public reason. It's not the exemplar, it is a quantitative methodology to examine the legitimacy of various forms of liberal representative government on the state, local, or federal level. The more overlap between those two word clouds, the more legitimate your system of representative democracy. And you can scale this vertically or horizontally, use it comparatively between states, up to the federal level, across horizontally, internationally. And that was my dissertation. So, yeah, I hope that you all found that very interesting. That all started from a question about what I think about Immanuel Kant's moral philosophy. So I hope you realize that was all from memory, and I love philosophy. So you can ask me philosophy questions, but I'm just going to go like a rocket ship. What tool do you recommend? Check out WBB. Searching the Epstein files with AI. I'll check it out. I like doing it by hand, but anything with AI is good. YouTube Andy, what did you think about my lecture on your wonderful former compatriot or countryman, Immanuel Kant? Did you know that I know everything about the history of continental philosophy and analytic philosophy? Did you know that? I am formally trained. No, Mary Pete, that was great. How much fun did we just... Mary Pete, you just got an entire education in the history of Western philosophy in like 20 minutes. That's incredibly valuable. Someone should make a whole clip of that. That's like an entire... I mean, I condensed a lot of it. Like, I skipped the whole Plato to Hobbes thing, and you can't really do that. And I didn't really explain the state of nature or contract theorists, social contract theorists. And I didn't explain the distinction between Rousseau's view of the state of nature and Hobbes's view, which is very important. You really should read the Second Discourse by Rousseau if you want to understand that. And I didn't even get into Nietzsche and some of the crazier sort of metaphysical commentaries on the emergence of industrial society. But I have a lot of fun with philosophy. Thank you, Mary P. Yes, I can kind of just orchestrate this. All of that is just in my head. So I love talking about it. No one ever asks me about the history of continental and analytic philosophy. I wish more people would. Sometimes we get into the Frankfurt School and Adorno and Horkheimer and Habermas and a little bit of that discourse theory because I talk about deconstructing Edward Bernays' weaponization of Freud's mass psychology of mind through corporate propaganda. But, you know, I want you to read Jutro, please. I will, Mary. I've never heard of Jutro. I bet he's in my anthology. I have a great anthology from Father Copplestone, which covers the entire history of Western philosophy. Let me give you, what's the name here? Jutro, philosopher, Mary P. Someone said, Kukino said, what's your opinion on Nietzsche? Okay, Beyond Good and Evil, interesting book. My opinion on Nietzsche is he wrote Thus Spoke Zarathustra as an attempt to explain to people that, if we went along with the vision of an industrial society proposed by the liberal democratic world order, it was going to inevitably lead to exactly what we have now. The collapse of human morality. We were just going to do disgusting things, and then no one was going to care because there would be so much entrenched systemic power in a corporate system that no one would do anything. The problem is, first of all, Nietzsche was German. And if you've ever read the 17th and 18th century German philosophers, they had really good insights, but they were trying to write for people who like listening to Wagner's operas, sitting in a fucking room and thinking they're the kings of the earth. So they're encoding this shit in grandiose, epic fucking narratives. And it's bro, you didn't need to do it that way, Nietzsche. That alienated the working class's ability to understand what you were saying, Mr. German man who likes to be very, very ambiguous. Just say the emergence of industrial society poses a threat because it will centralize control and enable abhorrent moral behavior and at the same time use the system that it creates as a structure of control. He couldn't say it that way. He had to be I'm going to go up to a mountain, and Zarathustra sat with the birds, and he was looking down upon the hill of his peoples, and then he returned, and he says, you all are, demons. Thus spoke Zarathustra. No, motherfucker. Tell them what is wrong. Yeah. I will read that moral theory. Thank you for the link, YouTube Andy. We're going to do some sidebars from the Karen Reed trial. I am going to hopefully get some lunch between now and 2. We're hope for towel donations. That's okay. We only need a little. Only a little today. Tomorrow we may need some more, depending on if Towel Lawyer gets the rental car done. But today, just a little for Towel Lunch, okay? And you can send super chats. We love you too. But there's also donation links. People will post them in the chat. Feel free to buy Towel a coffee or a cheeseburger or any number of things. And then we'll come back and do more Epstein files later. Especially because we just broke the news that Epstein controlled hiring at the CFR. I feel like, that's a big deal, and there's no, like, person to be like, good job, Grant. Like, here's, like, a dinner on the company. Or, like, good job, Grant. Like, there's no one to do that. Just you all. Like, it's kind of lonely. Do you agree with his conception of the will to power? I'd have to reread my notes on it. I remember it vaguely. I read him Kukigos in Liberal Democracy and Its Critics, which was a class I took in 2010 or so. So I haven't read that any Nietzsche in about 16 years. I was just kind of telling you what I remembered from when I read Thus Spoke Zarathustra. And I'll never forget in that class, it was a long time ago, but the last day of class, I sat next to this really interesting guy who was, he looked like he was a jock. Like, he looked like he played baseball, but he didn't. Like, he was on the baseball team at BC, but he was not a jock. He was a genius. And so he sat next to me, and he was, like, always interested during class to talk afterwards. He'd be like, oh, like, what did you think about, like, that book? Or what did you think about, like, that? And I'd always give him a few minutes, and then, like, whatever, go about my business. The last day of class, I was pleased. I liked the class. But the professor was very, like, kind of like neoliberal. So I didn't really, like, I would always battle with him. And he loved it. But, like, him and I were not on the same page. So I went to this kid who sat next to me. And he was probably a junior or senior in undergrad at BC like me at the time. And I says to him, what did you think of the class? And he says back, I thought it was good, but the class again was called Liberal Democracy and Its Critics. I thought the class was good, but you were the only critic. And I was like, yeah. Like, even in the readings, bro, there was no critics. It was just all extolling the virtues of liberal democracy in, like, an unapologetic neoliberal format. And I would just rail on the professor, and he would just sit there and be like, like, he knew I had him. Like, he couldn't, like, even argue back on any of the points. And you should have seen me in class, bro. It was so interesting. Especially as I, like, went through, like, higher degrees of my education. Like, it got to a point where I had to not say things in law school because, like, I would inadvertently ask something of the professor that would embarrass them. Then they would go to their professor friends, complain about me, and then their professor friends would come to me and be like, Grant, you can't show up the teaching fellow because you're interested in a case from 1939 about fucking, like, Lochner and contract theory. What are you doing? And I'm like, I just was really interested, bro. If she's going to talk about the liberty of contract doctrine, I got shit to say. And they're just like, okay, Grant, okay. Yeah, I slept for like 9 hours last night. That's the only reason I'm so refreshed. It's when I only get like 4 hours of sleep or I miss a REM cycle, then I get a little tired the next day. All right, let's keep working. More sidebars. I'm not making very good progress. I started lecturing about the development of Western continental philosophy. Grant is a nerdy McTowelface. Prince of Wales, I don't even know, like, what the word is for what I do. Okay? Like, it's intense. Alright? I just know a lot of shit. Alright, lunch and recess. Alright, no sidebar. We're only sidebar hunting. This is Yuri's direct from the first trial. Okay, I'll do that. Hold on. I'll get the invite code. Where is it? Alright, code is... Alright, I got it. Thank you for the code. I appreciate that. I got it. I got to get that link again. Hold on. Okay. And then let me get the link. Where is it? All right. Thank you very much, YouTube Andy. You are a super towel. All right. Got it. Yeah, I think something's here. Yeah, all right. Sidebar? No sidebar. This is Yuri's direct. First Karen Reed trial. We're sidebar hunting, though. Nope, sidebar. Sidebar! We have a sidebar. Sidebar. We are on page 1027 of 5481. They are talking about... Oh, the interview with Karen. All right, here we go. It's about an instruction. The court. So they determine ultimately that they're not going to really interview her now. No, Mr. Lally. No, they do. This is Proctor and Yuri. No, they do. They interview her. The court. All right. They tried to really use that against her. The court. All right. So at this point, she is clearly not in custody. We're not asking for Miranda. It's strictly voluntary statements. Mr. Lally, correct. The court. Why don't I tell you about what I intend to give, and then if there's any... So here's the issue. If, it's not a custodial interrogation... I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. But for Karen, this is, the afternoon of 1/29/2022, between, 2:12 and 4 p.m. the cops show up. I think it's around 4 or something, maybe 4 p.m. that day. And they want to interview her with her dad there in their kitchen because they want to use that evidence against her to get probable cause or something for a search. I forget. They want to use it against her. So they're just letting her talk. And Judge Cannoni's saying they didn't break any rules because Karen was not in custody. Remember, they didn't arrest her. She's in her own home. A reasonable person would feel free to leave. The test for custodial interrogation, which is incredibly important, because if the police, they don't have to arrest you, but if they make you feel like you can't leave somewhere and then they start asking you questions, that is a crucial stage of the proceedings. It's like where... what you would call Miranda, the Sixth Amendment attaches and Miranda attaches. They can attach independently depending on what's going on. But if you do a custodial interrogation, the person gets Miranda warnings. They have a right to call their lawyer, which is Sixth Amendment. Miranda is a little bit of both. But the point is, Miranda's a prophylactic penumbra of rights to protect you when the police want to interview you. The problem is, if you are not smart enough to know that if it's not a custodial setting, if they haven't taken your body to a police station, or if you're not in a closed room in a police station that you can't leave without being monitored, or if they don't have another example would be if you're surrounded by 20 cops with their guns drawn. That's a custodial interrogation. It has to be a situation where, you do not feel free to leave. Voluntariness is based on whether you feel free to leave. So here, Judge Cannoni is saying, and it's very, it's so much law in so few words that I understand why people don't always get what this is driving at. What this is saying is that voluntariness in this context is a construct based on whether Karen felt free to leave subjectively, okay? A reasonable person in their own home just being approached by cops who asked, "Do you want to talk to us?" That's not a custodial interrogation. Therefore, the cops didn't break any rules by interviewing her under those circumstances, and the statements can come in. Does everyone understand? If it had been a custodial interrogation, which it was not, these statements probably wouldn't have come in, and the defense would have said, they can't use this against her. They illegally interrogated her. But it's not a custodial interrogation because Karen, you see the voluntary word? Karen voluntarily just started talking. That's why lawyers say never, I'm not a lawyer, but lawyers say never talk to the police. Oh, my neck cracked. See how like much stress this can be? Apparently those cracks are a form of ASMR. So if you just had a little tingle from that crack, I heard that's a thing. That was probably so loud. That was the right side of my neck. Even though it's away from the mic, I bet you heard it. That sounds actually my neck cracking. What if you were handcuffed afterwards? It depends. It really depends. It's like you're looking at the time the statements were made, and it's a totality test of the circumstances. So it's like there's like 7 factors. And like being handcuffed is a strong factor, but it's not the only factor. No one factor is dispositive. I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. No one factor of the test for custodial interrogation is dispositive. Every factor weighs on whether a reasonably prudent person subjectively would have felt free to leave. Like, I've heard of some extreme examples, very extreme, and those are custodial interrogations. I've heard of, like, the cops knowing to avoid that, and so they do this kind of approach. Like, they didn't slip up by going to Karen and interviewing her informally. They were trying to trick her. It's like an old police trick. If you know about this. But you really have to know the rules. You have to know them very well. Because the cops, just so you understand, people think like if cops do something wrong, the punishment is always like they get written up or fired. No. Do you want to know the consequence for bad police work? In a moment like this at sidebar, the judge would have said, that was a custodial interrogation. What are you doing? You didn't Mirandize. Nothing's coming in. The punishment is the exclusionary rule. That's why Miranda's. That's why Miranda is. That's why Miranda is prophylactic. Okay, what it means by prophylactic, what the Supreme Court means by prophylactic is, cops are supposed to know prophylactically, like ahead of time, if you screw up with an interrogation, when the chips are down at trial, all the work you did is not coming in because you didn't play by this rule. It's a prophylactic constitutional principle. That's how the court defines the Miranda. It doesn't look like it's a constitutional rule, like if you read Miranda, but if you read the subsequent case law, it's a binding constitutional rule that functions prophylactically to deter police misconduct. And the punishment is the exclusionary rule for the statements obtained through custodial interrogation that was not appropriately subject to waiver. Counsel and Miranda. Waiver of counsel and waiver of Miranda are two different things. And waiver of silence is different too. All right, I'm going to keep going. So, why don't I tell you what I intend to give, and then if there's any, Mr. Jackson, sure. The court, you're about to hear testimony about statements allegedly made by the defendant, allegedly concerning the crimes charged in this case. Before you may even consider any such statements as evidence, the Commonwealth must prove to you beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant made the statement, and that she's alleged to have made, and that she made it voluntarily. She made it voluntarily, freely, and rationally. In determining whether any statement made by a defendant was voluntary or not, you may consider all the surrounding circumstances. These include when and where, this is a great enumeration, when and where the statement was made, the nature of any conversations with the police or questioning by the police, and the defendant's physical and mental condition, including her intelligence, age, education, experience, and personality. Your discussion does not turn upon any one factor. Oh, I predicted this exactly. You must consider the totality of the surrounding circumstances. See how good I am? Bro, I had that memorized. That's the exact... now, we wouldn't have even got there. Oh, no, I dropped my Dayquil. We wouldn't have even got there if it was a custodial interrogation. I am working on my journalism and a car to not pay $60 a day. It is over with. All right, sorry. I'm negotiating. I'm a tanner. Mr. Jackson, the only thing I would ask the court to add is when you use the example of age, mental capacity, etc., is to include a statement about potential for any medication that she might have taken. Oh, she was so nervous. There is evidence that she was heavily sedated in the hours before this. Oh, because she was at the hospital. Oh, bro. Wait a minute. I think one of the rules is you can't, like, interrogate someone that's, like, I wouldn't call her, like, mentally not there, but, like, you can't just be like, yeah, she was sedated, Your Honor, and we knew that. Like, she was, I think it's, like, a particularly vulnerable person or something. You can't be like, yeah, like, she was at the hospital earlier, and they gave her a bunch of drugs, and then we went to interrogate her. Like, it was voluntary. No, bro, you can't voluntarily consent. I think Alan should have pushed this harder. He probably didn't because it's kind of embarrassing. But it's not like Karen sedating herself. She went to the hospital. They sedated her. It's like they gave her a GABAergic. And remember, we've talked about GABAergics. When you get sedated, what that means is they suppress your GABA-1 receptor. That means your social functioning is off. Like, you're going to be less, you're going to have less inhibitions. Alan could have gone to the mat on this. It must be that Karen didn't say anything that incriminating. But if she said something dumb, like really dumb, like, last night I drove into a tree or something, and she didn't drive into a tree, like, Lally would want to use that against her. Alan would go to the mat and be like, no, it wasn't voluntary, Your Honor. Like, it was basically a coerced confession is what it's called. Because she was, like, sedated, they went there and tricked her. Bro, like, how are you supposed to, like, while you're sedated, speak to a cop in a voluntary way? That's case law, but he didn't want to push it. Alan, you can tell, he's just like, listen, I'm fine with the voluntariness instruction, which is more like a jury issue. You can cut this off. I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. You can cut this off before it gets to the jury. If it's a coerced confession or like there was not constructive waiver and it was required of Miranda or the Sixth Amendment. Alan doesn't want to fight that. He doesn't need to because it's not damning. He wants to just get the voluntariness instruction, which shows like the jury should be thinking about like whether even the like relatively innocent stuff she said like is like considerable during deliberation. If she said something really bad, he would have gone to the mat on this. He never would have let this get to the jury. It's only because even in her sedated state, Karen knew not to just like truth seer. Bro, I wonder if like they hit her with like a bunch of fucking benzos at the hospital and then they told the cops who then were like, oh, let's go right away and interview her while she's on the benzos. Benzos are like a truth serum. Like, you know how they say like a drunk man's thoughts or a sober man's thoughts or a drunk man's words or whatever? A drunk man's words or a sober man's thoughts. Okay, that's a way of expressing what a GABAergic, like a benzo or alcohol, does to your GABA-1 receptor. If they did that, there's never going to be proof. It could just be an oral communication. Like, then it's actually really dark that they went directly from her in the hospital sedated to trying to interrogate her by other means and get voluntary statements out of her while she had just been sedated. I mean, that borders on like serious misconduct. YouTube, Andy, definitely worth making an X. X is one of the only platforms right now other than YouTube that, and YouTube I don't show any of the videos really, but X is one of the platforms that really allows coverage of the Epstein files. I think YouTube has been pretty tolerant of it because some of the stuff in there I'm sure horrified the YouTube team. Like, not they weren't in it, but like I'm sure they had some stuff going on where they're just like, this is the limit. Like, this is the limit of what people above us can do that we're okay with, which I agree with them, frankly, if that's what they feel. I love the people at YouTube. People give them such a bad rap, but they're really like contemplative. They really like care. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's a different kind of like administrative structure. Like, they think so much about like what will help creators, like what do different creators do. Like, they're just very kind towards their creators. So I don't like people who get mad at YouTube. Like, if anything, I think YouTube is probably one of the most like compassionate platforms out there towards the people who create on the platform. Now, I've seen some people be like mean to them for no reason, which I do not understand, but I like YouTube. But X is good too right now. All right. There's evidence she was heavily sedated. The court. So that's why I'm talking about mental condition. I'm not going to specifically mention medication. Mr. Jackson, okay, that's fine. The court. Other than that, do you want me to stay away from Miranda as we discussed? Mr. Jackson, correct. The court, and you're satisfied about just voluntariness in the circumstances. I told you Alan wouldn't go to the mat on this. Hello, Standing Stone. So good to see you. I know you're just saying hi to friends in chat, but I saw your comment. Mr. Jackson, with the note of request that I made, yes, I'm satisfied. The court, we haven't heard anything about that yet. Mr. Jackson, okay, the court, thank you. Whereupon the sidebar conference concluded. So then she gives the voluntariness. Now, I told you, in my opinion, it's because all the statements were innocuous. If there was anything in there that Jackson thought was damaging to Karen, he would have gone to the mat. And when I say gone to the mat, I mean he would have invoked the constructive waiver objection. Like, it's kind of hard to understand what that means, but he would have said, like, they were custodially interrogating her and she didn't waive. And if you say that, like, that's a very specific sentence. If you say specifically, she was subject to custodial interrogation and didn't waive, then because they didn't Mirandize her, they can get screwed. Like, seriously screwed. Sidebar! Ladies and gentlemen, sidebar alert, page 1049, 5481. Sidebar. Whereupon, there was a sidebar conference as follows. All right, so they're about to play the video of Karen's car. All right. Let's see. Oh, YouTube Andy. I have an email. Okay, YouTube Andy, I'm going to put this in there for you. Yeah, let me put this for YouTube Andy. The best way to send me things is GrantSmithEllis@gmail. That's my open inbox. That's the best way to just email me, my GrantSmithEllis@gmail. So anything you want to send, YouTube Andy, you send along. All right. Sidebar. Mr. Jackson. This is page 1049 of the document in the pin file, in the pin comment. Mr. Jackson, Your Honor, I don't know the name of this file, but all of us just put our heads together to try and figure what this video is. We do not have this. I hesitate to say we don't have this video. We have not seen this view of this video. It's a Sallyport sidebar. Call it the Sallyport sidebar. We do have Sallyport video. It's the one from the opposite side. Mr. Lally, this was separately provided at a later date. Mr. Jackson, when was this provided? Mr. Lally, it was provided specifically after Mr. Yannetti, during a pretrial hearing, had mentioned that there was no video and it was grainy. I don't have the exact notice of discovery in front of me, but this was absolutely provided well prior to trial. How long is it? Mr. Lally, no. What? No. Okay, this is a typo. Typo. Oh, this is a big sidebar. Typo. Okay, first of all, typo, sidebar, page 150. I'm going to send in all the typos. The reporter's going to be like, what is wrong with you? How long is it should be a response from Mr. Jackson, not the end of Lally's statement. I'm a tough critic. But hey, it's my taxpayer dollars. Typo alert. Exactly. We have a typo. It is on line 9. It should say, Mr. Jackson, how long is it? Mr. Lally. So it's motion activated. So it skips over. I mean, I think it stands probably about 20 minutes, but I think the entirety of the video is probably about 8 or 9 minutes. Mr. Jackson, it is 8 or 9 minutes. Mr. Lally, I believe it's much shorter than that. I think it's about 5.5 minutes or so. The court, all right, typically the jury has asked for like a 3:14 afternoon break on days we go to 4:30. I can give them a break now so you can see it if you want. Mr. Jackson, yeah, I desperately need to see it, or we can move past it and give them a break at 3:15 is if there is another area that we can cover and make it more. The court, I just feel where it's already up there. Oh, somebody sent a donation. Oh, Yay! It's almost time for lunch. I'll do lunch at 1. I'm trying to get to page like 1,500. All right, I'm going to work. Listen, how about this? I am technically the boss, okay? So, like, we got to let Towel's body dictate, like, what he does each day. So if I need to rest 12 hours to, like, do a stream like this, we got to let him do that. Now, I'm me. I'm talking about myself. I'm a Towel. However, you all can be the boss, too. Like, so what I want to do is, like, I feel so grateful and indebted to the people who are supporting this. Like, I don't want to, like, burn myself out, but I also want to, like, commit myself to honoring your donations. So what I'm going to do is you're going to get like Intense Towel for the next 41 minutes because God bless the person who sent a donation. And then I'm going to go eat lunch because they sent a donation for lunch. Then I'm going to come back after the lunch break and we're going to do more. You don't understand. I'm going to get some Towel energy drinks. I'm going to get 1 Towel energy drink. I like the Swedish fish one. It's probably not healthy for me, but it makes me feel like a super towel. So I'm going to drink it. Allow me like 3 indulgences, please. I hope you don't mind. Then I'm going to go to a fast food place. I'm going to pick the one that I haven't gotten in a while. I really like it. It's delicious. Then I'm going to get some cigars. Then I'm going to come home, and then we're going to do our second part of the day. But you are going to get 41 minutes of Intense Towel. Why? Because I feel indebted and I feel very grateful to all of you for supporting this work. It's emotionally difficult. Do not take my passionate approach to this as a reflection of me not recognizing its severity. The only way I can process the Epstein files and some of this material, which is very intense, is to have an emotional detachment from the actual substance. But do not mistake it. I am not just dedicated to you all who are supporting this. I'm dedicated to this work because it is important, because people were victimized and survived that victimization in multiple different ways, and because our system of government relies on people who do this because they care. You just need a few good people who are capable doing it because they care, and that is enough to change history in small ways, and that will then beget larger reformation. That's what I'm trying to do. So I'm so grateful, and God bless all of you. Amatau. I know YouTube Andy. Now, I love AI, but the problem is, so YouTube Andy, do you know what OCR is? It's a mechanism by which PDF files are scanned by AI. The problem is, if you do not make the file OCR compatible, and it's hard to even like make it OCR compatible after it's rendered, okay? If you don't do it from the start, what you will get is an AI that misses like 70%, maybe 50% of the text. Okay, now why do I say that? Well, because when the AI misses 70%, I did get the test email. Yes, it is. Whoever sent the text email, I got the test email. I got it. You're a super towel. Whenever you use AI to process machine-readable text, and remember, I'm an expert on natural language processing, so when I tell you this, like, I assure you I mean it. When an algorithmic scan of text occurs, and you need 2 things. One, the algorithm has to have a dictionary, okay? So when I'm doing it, I might load up like a 2.1 gig like source dictionary of words for it to be like processing the data file with. If I really wanted to like do a good job, I might load up like a 6.1 gig dictionary file. Just understand when you're doing that, to process like with a dictionary that's 6.1 gigs of words, to process anything like even like 50 pages of PDF takes like 2 hours, because the dictionary, like, it's an exponential equation. The size of the source dictionary needed to analyze the file, the PDF file, every time you expand that, it exponentially increases the amount of CPU power required to analyze a file. So source dictionary file 6.1 gigs. I write this code myself in Python. I can show you examples. Like, I like design Python code to help me scan PDF files. I don't use software. I do it myself. I actually write the underlying code base. And so when I'm doing it, like, I can really make it good. I can make a very refined dictionary-based OCR scan program to interpolate PDF text. The problem is, no matter how good my code is, no matter how expansive my dictionary is within the program, no matter how refined my algorithm is when it's doing its processing, if the source file does not allow transliteration, that's a very broad term for like taking the word off the page. If I can't do that, it's useless. Like, my research would be like cut, like it would be like doing it with one arm cut off, because I would be getting like an impression that my scan of the data would be a comprehensive review of its content. If I had done that with the Higgins text with John O'Keefe, I would have missed all the texts that were not transcribed into type text on the right of the images. For that reason, when we do our Epstein work, I might use some AI to... I've never done it. I've done everything by hand, but I'm really a purist. So I love that you all are searching through this with like Jmail, using the AI to process it. I want your suggestions. Send me all the information. Give me leads. It's perfect. We can even think about this as like a collaborative project. But my research, like if I'm doing by hand research, it is actually like methodical, as you're seeing. I don't supplement my fine-tooth comb search with an AI. I can't. I think it's useful for generating leads, but if I'm doing it, it's by hand. Like developing search terms using Boolean operators, and then I'm going PDF by PDF, and I'm reading every source file, and I'm looking for stuff that's like there. I'm looking for stuff that maybe didn't get indexed in the search. I'm looking for that kind of stuff. I have to be the like AI, quote unquote. I have to do it by hand, no shortcuts. But I love generating leads through processing tools. So you all, run wild. Send me any email you want. Send me any lead you want. We will do 6-hour investigations. But we're cutting into my towel transcript time. I said I would do 41 minutes. We're down to 35 minutes. Let's go. Yeah, I tend to think that Epstein's around, but he's got to go now. I heard he's in Colorado. No, that wasn't Colorado. That was another guy. He's around, but he's got to go. I don't know where, but he's got to go. We got to just like put him on a rocket ship and send him somewhere. He can enjoy his last like days, quote unquote, enjoy just floating aimlessly in space. You know, that way like he can't come back. If we just send him out into orbit on a rocket ship, can we vote to do that? Are we allowed to have a referenda on making it legal to put Jeffrey Epstein in a rocket ship and just send him into outer Earth orbit? Like, I don't want him orbiting around the planet. It has to like accelerate him enough where he gets like out to some other planet. He can orbit around that planet. But then I'm worried we could have like a Darth Vader situation. Maybe we should not do this. Okay, stop. Everybody put a stop to this plan. We should not send Jeffrey Epstein out into space on a spaceship. He would probably become Darth Vader. All right, I got it. No, stop. Put the brakes on that plan. We are not sending him out to space on a rocket ship. He would become Darth Vader. I get it. I've never seen Star Wars, but I get it. Thank you very much, YouTube Andy. I'll keep an eye on the CFR. That's a big project. I need the New York Times or someone to take on the CFR project. They probably won't do it. Maybe The Intercept. That's the whole power structure. If Epstein was really hiring for them, I mean, that's it. That's game over. That's the whole sort of kit and caboodle. The paintings are the money. I'll take care of that, I hope. I want to get that for the survivors. And I want those Isabella Stewart Gardner museum paintings. Listen, I don't think there's anyone in Massachusetts who, other than the Isabella Stewart Gardner people, who actually give a shit about those paintings. A lot of people want to know what happened, but bro, I want the paintings for my peoples. I don't want to own those ones. No. The Isabella Stewart Gardner ones, they were stolen. This is not a case where Epstein or Khashoggi, Adnan Khashoggi, used their wealth to buy them. That would be a different situation. That would be like a liquidate them situation. They stole 15 or something of our paintings. And when I say our, I mean, listen, Isabella Stewart Gardner deeded those paintings to the people of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I did my research. They belong to us. I want them back. And then I'm going to get those $3 billion for the survivors. Oh, I know Barrett Brown. Do I need to message him, Robin Hood? Thank you, Kite K. I'm so glad you've been enjoying the lecture. I want to clip that part about the history of Western philosophy. I'm so excited to share it. I loved that lecture. You don't understand. You all gave me so much purpose today with that lecture. I was having a field day. I love Kant and Hegel and John Rawls. And I'm a little towel. But yeah, I don't know. If Barrett Brown's got something going on, you can just tell him to hit me up. You can be like, yeah, Grant said he hopes you're doing well. And he said you can talk to him if anything's going on. He's a little towel. He was in House of Cards. They had a character based on him. And I was like, that's Barrett. I know him. He's been going through some shit. Actually, he's a good reporter. But I remember he made a post like 2 months ago or something. He said he had been like going through some stuff. He was a boss. He went into federal prison and like made friends because he's such a boss. He's so smart. He's a good reporter. He's probably one of the people like I talk a lot about Edith Tarbell, Hunter S. Thompson, Walt Whitman, whatever. But like Barrett Brown, not everything that he was doing I would have done the same way, but like no one would say they would do everything I did the same way either. But like when he was doing that LulzSec reporting, oh my God. I mean, like even the Rolling Stone reporter who tragically died, hold on, Rolling Stone reporter car crash, 1 second. Michael Hastings. I think even Michael Hastings would probably have looked at Barrett Brown's reporting on LulzSec as like incredible. I mean, to understand like what Hector Monsignor was doing as like Sabu and like what was happening there. Oh my God. I mean, I didn't want to touch that with like a 10-foot pole, bro, at the time. I knew about it because I was a reporter or a graduate student. I had to know about it for my academic research. But my God, man, like I've never seen anything like that in my life. He like was in the IRC chat like with like Sabu, who was like an FBI informant, and like half of LulzSec, like those guys were very impressive, and girls. They did some really like intense work. I'm not saying morally or legally right or wrong. That's not for me to judge. But like you want to talk about like digital investigative journalism. I mean, and that's where the case law comes from. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. When you talk about like not soliciting classified information, like the line between like soliciting classified information and obtaining classified information and reporting on it came from those like cases. It all emerged out of what LulzSec and Anonymous, quote unquote, were doing. It was an incredible time in history to look and study reporting. And Barrett Brown was at the center of the emergence of what you could call, like, Cory Doctorow is probably, like, what I would call, like, the historian of, like, internet, like, theory. He's definitely, like, up there. But Barrett Brown is, like, probably, at least over the past 20 years, one of the foremost, like, embodiments of like fearless digital journalism. Like digital journalism is different than like new journalism. New journalism was like Hunter S. Thompson, what's his name? Truman Capote, like living the story. Okay, it was very easy to get compromised because you had to live it. Digital journalism is like living it, but being removed from it enough that you keep your integrity. Like it's hard to like not like it's hard to keep that integrity, but you can do it, and he was a pioneer. So a lot of respect for Barrett. But also, like, I don't get involved in some of that stuff. Like, that's not because I don't value the coverage, but because it's a minefield. Like, you think the work I do is a minefield? talk about like some of the stuff like those guys were doing. That was intense. Yeah, like Michael Hastings and Petraeus, bro. Like that, even if you work for Rolling Stone, like you have to, back then, before the Epstein files, you had to be very protective to do that work. Only like Julie K. Brown, only really Julie K. Brown was like willing to just be like, screw it. Like very few people were willing to be just like, screw it. Everyone else kind of sold out. It's very dangerous work to be a journalist. That's why I think people don't understand why journalists are so hyper protective of the term journalist. Like, you have to earn it. I didn't just like, eventually when enough of my colleagues cited to me, yes, I could call myself a journalist. But you can't like self-designate. You have to, they are so protective of that term. Judges too, even in decisions, like they are so protective of the term journalist because you really have to do work that like exposes your like integrity to multiple ethical like tests, and you have to pass them all. And most journalists don't pass them. They become co-opted members of the establishment. That's why there's a lot of tension between like reporters who work for big stations and like independent journalists, like shoe leather journalists. Some of the reporters came from shoe leather journalism, so they know the deal. Like they begrudgingly will like respect the people doing it, but they don't love that like people play outside the game nowadays. They hate that their quarter hours are so low and that like internet ratings are so much bigger than anything they can produce. Like people don't even care. It used to be like, you put it on TV, bro, that's the narrative. Now it's like the TV's got to chase and the newspaper's got to chase the narrative online. All right, let's keep going. This was the Sally Port sidebar. So Jackson's got to look at it. All right, sidebar. The court. So I need you for just a minute. Mr. Lally, sure. The court. So I just asked the clerk, Mr. McDermott, to print out the docket. Oh, that's for you. Take it, please. We will print out the docket to find out whatever the hearing date was and when your notice of discovery was. Mr. Lally, it was right around April 23rd. Discovery notice, I believe. Mr. Unetti, is that April 2023 or Mr. Lally 2024? April 23rd of 2024. Mr. Lally, yes. Mr. Jackson, so within the last 2 months. Mr. Unetti, after the start of trial? The court. All right. Why don't we watch it? Mr. Lally, sure. Whereupon the sidebar conference concluded. All right, they leave the stand. The video is played. All right. Now we go back to it. Okay, so basically, like, there was a misunderstanding because this video, which they are upset about, the defense, this video wasn't actually turned over, like, the one with the weird, like, motion-activated, like, gaps, until like April 23rd, like right as trial was about to start. It's not actually after the start of trial. It was after the start of jury impanelment and before trial. Trial started like April 29th or something, and Lally turned this over April 23rd, only because Unetti asked about it. All right. We are at the sidebar. We got 24 more minutes of towel. Whereupon there was a sidebar conference, but then I'm going to come back after lunch. It's like you're my towel bosses, but I have the towel gavel. Whereupon there was a sidebar. Sidebar alert. Sidebar, page 1060. 1060 of 5481. I expect a lot of sidebars. So, Mr. Lally is talking about applying for search warrants for the exterior of John's house, the rings. Whereupon there was a sidebar. The court. What is the nature of the objection, Mr. Jackson? Mr. Jackson, this witness, foundation. This witness did not write the search warrants. This witness, this warrant did not analyze the videos. This witness did not look at the videos. He has nothing to do with those videos. Trooper Proctor did all of that. The court, what do you say about that, Mr. Lally? Mr. Lally, Sergeant Buchanan has looked at all of the videos. He supervises Trooper Proctor. All I'm asking in reference to the search warrants is he's aware these search warrants were obtained. He's seen all the videos. He can testify as to how they're kept and how he viewed them just as easily as anybody else. Mr. Jackson, no, he can't. I've seen the videos as well, Your Honor. That doesn't give me the foundation to establish how they were recovered. He has to call Trooper Proctor. I know he doesn't want to, but he's going to have to. The court, and I know you want him to, but I'm just focusing on what's before me, so let's lay a foundation. Mr. Lally, sure. Sidebar concluded. All right, so they try to lay the foundation. And this is why he says we. He doesn't even call it like the lead investigator. All right, sidebar. We have another. Oh goodness, this is going to take us like 7 days. Sidebar, sidebar, ladies and gentlemen. 1066-5481. 1066 of 5481. If you're following along in the document at the top of the page in the pinned comment. Whereupon there was a sidebar. The court. So are these already in evidence, Mr. Lally? They are in Exhibit 6. Yes, Mr. Jackson. He has no foundation for these. They are in Exhibit 6 because Trooper Proctor is expected to testify. And they're going to do de bene again. And when the foundation for them, if they're going to be played for the jury, he wasn't the affiant. He didn't write the affidavit. He didn't ask for them. All he did was review them. Any one of the jurors could review them. I could pick someone from the audience to review them, but they can't come into court and establish the bona fides of the foundation. The bona fides, but I like bona fides. It's Latin. We pronounce it bona fides. The court. So it's in evidence, and that's one thing. There is some case law in Massachusetts on acknowledging police officers working together. It's not very helpful to defendants, so yes, you may play that. Ooh. So she's saying that like it's a transitive foundation. There's case law that says if one cop does something and the other cop works with the cop, they both can introduce the evidence. Ooh. Judge Canoni is on the ball on that one, but only because it hurts the defendant. I did Robin Hood. Thank you very much. Bona fides. It's a Latin term. And Alan actually probably said bona fides there. Like it's the court reporter knows to transcribe the Latin because Latin is a term of art in law. So even though bona fides here isn't, the court reporter knows all the Latin terms. Because you can't like think like de bene as a type of pasta. You have to know what de bene is. The court. So it's in evidence, and that's one thing. Oh, yeah. Mr. Lally, thank you. Mr. Jackson, objection. The court, yes. Whereupon the sidebar conference concluded. Typo. Ladies and gentlemen, typo. Typo. We have a typo. Typo alert. Typo page. Let me make sure. It's 1066 5481. Line 21 should say, open parentheses, whereupon, not hereupon. It looks like hereupon is like some kind of strange Middle East, medieval European verb. It's not. Whereupon, it should look like this. Typo. I don't like typos. I'm a tough critic. That costs like 2 cents in my taxpayer dollars. All right? I'm clawing back 2 cents. Imagine if I actually sent a list of typos. It used to be like with math textbooks. If you found typos in them, like in college, they would pay you like $20 per typo. Especially if you found like a mathematical error. Oh, they loved that, bro. It was like a bounty program in the math textbook. Now, I'm not a mathematician, but I had a friend who was like a genius level like mathematician. And he was from Ireland. And he was like, bruh, watch this. And he would just like read like random like math textbooks for classes he didn't take. And then he'd be like, look at this typo. And I'd be like, what do you mean? I don't understand what that function is. And he'd be like, it's a typo, bro. It's supposed to be like the integer like zeta, and it's like an F, you know? That's like the complete right. This guy's a moron. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, they pay me like $50 every time I find one. Look at this check. And I'm like, oh, good for you, man. I didn't know that was a profession. I'm thrilled for you. I had a lot of smart friends. All right. Hello, Petty LaBelle. You are not late. We are just doing sidebars. I'm taking a 1 o'clock lunch break, so you got 17 more minutes of towel. And then I'm coming back, and we're going to do more sidebars probably at like 2:30 after I eat lunch and recharge, and get some cigars. And if anyone's watching, God bless the person who sent a lunch donation. That is going to go towards a towel cheeseburger and probably a side of something. Maybe, I don't know. I have to decide. And then I'm also going to collect other supplies. So hashtag support Little Towel. God bless all of you. I'm sure someone will drop the links if you've been watching. You can buy Towel Coffee. You can buy Towel like supplies, and then I come back and give you even more information. You are the only reason I'm sustaining day to day right now. All right. God bless all of you. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Where's the sidebar? So they're talking about Karen's drinks. Okay. We should probably approach briefly Mr. Lally. There was an objection from Mr. Jackson that was sustained. The court, what is your objection? Mr. Jackson, I just don't want to sound like a complete idiot in front of everybody. I thought these were already presented. That's the best line we've read so far. I love the. So if you're really smart, you will constantly self-deprecate because, like, flexing is pointless, bro. There's no reason to, like, if you got it, you got it. You don't need to tell people you have it. So Alan doing this is so funny because it's not like a layperson saying this. Alan's like being very humble, and it's like a sign of like great intelligence. I love it. Judge is like, Mr. Jackson, Mr. Lally, the waterfall, the court, the waterfall. I've been waiting for these ones. What? You've been waiting for these, Judge? You were excited for the waterfall videos? What is wrong with this, with Judge Cannoni? Dude, she was starting to act a little weird, like, and this is only the first trial. Like, so she forgot some shit. She forgot a very important Lumen Martin concept. And none of the lawyers knew to correct her. It was weird. I didn't know what to say about that. I was a little baffled. I realized, like, you gotta, like, I know Judge Cannoni is a good judge. Like, she's really a good judge. But when you're picking a judge, you have to literally, like, get them up there in front of the governor's council and be like, so, what do you think about, like, when a defendant has to invoke their Fifth Amendment right, when a witness has to invoke their Fifth Amendment right during a trial, like, say counsel, like, ambushed you and was like, hypothetically, like, Your Honor, I'm going to ask this witness questions that could criminally implicate them. What should you do in that situation? Like, you really got to, like, run the gambit on them in the interview to make sure, like, they know, like, now I understand what a governor's counselor does. I understand what the governor does, and I understand why appointing judges is very, like, unique. You basically have to, like, do a super version of the bar. That's kind of what, like, getting appointed as a judge is. That's what it should be. It should be, like, what's called an M board. Like, I'm not spelling it out, but it should be called, like, an M board, where you go in front of it and, like, they just, like, tear you apart on every question of law that could come before you as a judge. And if you can't answer them, you can't be a judge. It cannot be political. We cannot have political appointees, basically, in judgeships. It has to be so refined. I don't even know if there's that many people that can do it, but it's very important that we all focus on the role of the governor's council and the governor in the way that judges are appointed. You have 8 governor's counselors. You should pay attention. The court, what is your objection? Mr. Jackson, I just don't want to sound like a complete idiot in front of everyone. I thought these were already presented. Mr. Lally, the waterfall. The court, the waterfall. I've been waiting for these ones. Mr. Jackson, I knew I was going to sound like an idiot. My main objection is there is no foundation for these. They could have been done in a handoff. He asked for them. He received them, but he doesn't know the court, which is why I thought we went through the whole video. Mr. Jackson, no. I thought he can't say that she was drinking Tito's. I don't know that she was drinking Tito's. Maybe. The court, what do you say, Mr. Lally? Mr. Lally, she, in her interview with this sergeant, indicated that she was drinking vodka and soda. Mr. Jackson, I'm not even arguing that. I'm trying to establish that if this is going to come in, it needs to come in through a custodian of record, not through the officer. He is not the custodian. The court, but the video came in. So in connection with the video, I'm going to let this in. Mr. Jackson, okay. The court, your objection is noted. Mr. Jackson, okay. So, like, preserving it for appeal. Huh. Huh. Interesting. Why was Judge Cannoni excited for these? I'm going to make a post about this. I'm baffled. Why was Judge Cannoni looking forward to the state introducing evidence, the video evidence from the Waterfall bar on the night of 1/28/2022 into the morning of 1/29, the time of John O'Keefe's death? I'm so confused. During the first Karen Reed trial, Alan Jackson tried to object, and judge shut him down. I'm starting to have all sorts of questions about what Judge Cannoni was, doing. Did she back down during the second trial? Was this actually a bag job during the first trial? I gotta think the feds are involved in this somehow. Don't you? Doesn't it just seem like the feds are involved somehow, some way? Gotta make it up out the towel hood someday. But my point is, doesn't it seem like the feds are involved in this? It just seems like it. Source, page 1093 to 1094. Source, pages 1093 to 1094 of 5481. All right. I'm just baffled. I'm baffled. Let's keep going. All right. So they're done there. All right. Now they're still talking. We got 10 more minutes of towel. Hi, Nicola Cox. Good to see you. We're on sidebar. We're on sidebar watch. A little bit later, we're going to do some Epstein file research. We already did some today. Nicola Cox, I proved that Epstein was in charge of hiring for the Council on Foreign Relations. Is this sidebar? Sidebar! Ladies and gentlemen, sidebar alert. We are on page 1102 of 5481. You have a great time at dinner, Nicola. You catch up whenever you want. We had quite a morning. We're trying to take down the Council on Foreign Relations because I'm a town. Sidebar, during the Uri direct. It's right after the jury's, it's right after we ended for the day. On June 3rd or something of 2024. Sidebar, the court. All right, Mr. Lally, my apologies. The court, that's okay. How much longer do you have with Buchanan? Mr. Lally, I'd say about 45 minutes or so. The court, how long do you think you will finish tomorrow? It's only until noon. I'm not rushing you. I'm just curious. Mr. Jackson, no, I understand. I guess that's a little bit of an unknown because I was going to bring this up, and now is as good a time as any. If the Commonwealth is not going to call Trooper Proctor, and a lot of this information is coming out through Trooper Buchanan, I expect it to come out through Trooper Proctor. If that's not the case, that changes my entire cross-exam of Trooper Buchanan. The court, okay. Mr. Jackson, so I sort of need some clarity. I mean, I've asked the Commonwealth several times, and it shouldn't be, I don't want to get ambushed, and I don't want to have to adjust on the fly. I should have the opportunity, a reasonable opportunity, to deal with the lead case officer who's going to testify in this case in an appropriate way, because there's so much that rides on that. So all I'm asking is if Proctor is not going to testify in the Commonwealth's case, then that changes the way I cross-examine Trooper Buchanan significantly. If Trooper Proctor is expected to testify, my cross of this officer is probably an hour, maybe less. If it's not, then there is a lot of ground to cover with Buchanan. I'm adding that part in. I could be 4 hours. The court, okay, so I don't care how long you take. You can take days. You know as well as I do the ambush is if you're not told a witness is going to testify, right? Mr. Jackson, I understand. The court, it's what defense counsel does. You're preparing one way or the other. I'm not asking the Commonwealth whether they are calling Proctor or not. I mean, he's on the witness list. This is a big deal, right? Mr. Jackson, it's a big deal. Yes. The court. So if it were me, I'd prepare for both and see how it goes. Okay, fair enough. The court, I'm just saying, So I don't care how long you take. If you don't know, you don't know. That's fine. Juror issues. Mr. Jackson of June, the court of June. Mr. Jackson, oh, wow, okay. The court, okay. Redacted juror issues. Mr. Jackson, okay. Mr. Lally, my expectation, just as far as, oh, the juror's pregnant. She was going to have a baby. Oh, they're talking about the juror having a baby. I can tell from context. She's going to have a baby. My expectation, just as far as, and obviously this could change, but my current expectation is I should be able to rest the case in chief on either the 17th or 18th. The court, okay, and the 19th is a federal holiday. Mr. Jackson, oh, is it? The court, it's Juneteenth. Mr. Lally, Juneteenth. Mr. Yannetti, I had in my calendar that there was a potential off day on June 11th, which was Tuesday, coming up. The court, oh, is there? I was told that the Commonwealth, Mr. Lally, I believe there is. The court needs something personal to you. You need a day off? Mr. Lally, yes, Your Honor. The court, okay. Mr. Yannetti, we are off Tuesday then. The court, yes, we'll be off Tuesday. I have not told the jury that yet. Mr. Yannetti, right. The court, I'll just tell them tomorrow. Mr. Yannetti, just while we are on scheduling, Your Honor, I mean, we have gotten the heads up regarding the order of witnesses. After Trooper Buchanan, there are 2 minor quick witnesses and Trooper Paul. And then we don't know anybody after that. The court, well, it sounds like you may not get past Trooper Buchanan tomorrow. Mr. Jackson, maybe not. But we have almost a full week next week, and we'd like a heads up as to who is coming after that. The court, okay, so you'll provide that tomorrow, Mr. Lally? Mr. Lally, yes, Your Honor. The court, all right, so the 11th, I will tell the jurors tomorrow that we won't be in session. Okay, and it was the 26th, juror issue redacted, where we'd go from 12 straight to 4 with a short afternoon break. Mr. Lally, sure. The court, blank, 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 juror issues. Mr. Yannetti, right, okay. Mr. Jackson, given what Mr. Lally has just graciously told us about when he expects to wrap up this case, that means our witnesses are going to be obviously propped up. I just want to make sure that there's absolutely no delay. I'm not sure if this is a court question or if it's a Mr. McDermott, the clerk question. I don't really know how logistically how to see our witnesses in the building. In other words, if I have 5 witnesses, I don't know where they go. I don't have an anteroom for them. I love the word anteroom. It's like, he's such a diplomat. Like, anteroom. Oh my God. Like, using the word anteroom means you're used to being in parlors, like formal gentlemen's or like clubs or whatever, where there's like an anteroom where you like sit and wait to be called into the main room. It's a very formal term. Almost never used outside of like aristocratic parlance. Almost never. It barely exists anymore. You might use it. You might use it in the context of like seeing a very large like corporate CEO who has like an office with an anteroom, or it's like a gentleman's club thing. And I don't mean like a strip club. I mean like you go to the gentleman's club like White's in London, you sit around, you like read shit, like read the papers and bet on which raindrop hits the bottom of the window first. Like that's where you have anterooms. All right. I'd just like a little clarification so I can start preparing. The court, okay, it's something we'll talk about. I have to talk with security about it. Mr. Jackson, okay, I just wanted to put it on the radar. The court, all right, so June 21st. That's a definite, right? Did you find out if it's more than a day or a full day? June 21st, I have a sentencing that involves, it's post-Mathis, a very serious case that was trialed here twice in the last year. I expect that will be all day on the 21st. That's problematic. Mr. Lally, I could be wrong on this, but I believe the court had already told the jury, or at least told us, that the 11th was off and the 21st was off. The court, I never said the 11th was off. I may have said the 21st was off. Mr. Lally, at least the 21st. I have it written down. The court, okay, I'll check. Did I tell you the 21st? Mr. Yannetti, I didn't have that in my calendar. Mr. Jackson, I didn't either. Mr. Yannetti, I had the 11th as a possible date. The court, I'll check, because I know I sent it to security, so I'll check with them. The clerk, also, so Mr. McDermott, also on the 13th, Thursday, the 18th, we are going a full day. The court, the 8th, every day is a full day from here on unless we are told otherwise. Mr. Jackson, okay, good. The court, I think we said that to the jury last week. The clerk, Judge, I'm sorry, the 13th. The court, yes, next Thursday will be a full day. Mr. Lally, that's actually very helpful because I think at that point we'll be with the witnesses coming from out of state. So the more stretched out we can get, Mr. Yannetti, next week we have 4 full days then. The court, yes. Mr. Yannetti, right? The court, yes. Mr. Yannetti, and the week after, 4 full days. The court, no. 3 full days because of Juneteenth is a holiday. How long do you think your experts will take? Mr. Jackson, I think we are going to have in between 8 and 10 witnesses total. 1, 2, 3, 4 experts. The court, and we need voir dires. We need voir dires of the experts, right? Mr. Lally, yes. I anticipate we'll have another motion to exclude at least one of the experts tomorrow. And then, yes, I think we need a voir dire of the remaining ones because I don't know what their testimony is going to be, with the exception, I think, of Mr. Richard Green and Dr. Sheridan, Dr. Van E, and I have no idea. And the ARCA person, I really don't know. Mr. Jackson, there's going to be 2 from ARCA, and Dr. Van E, both. The voir dire, it is what it is. I expect if I could, excluding an extensive voir dire, I could get our case in chief done and over with, I think, in 4 to 5 days of full testimony. Probably 4 full days of testimony if there is no extensive voir dire. My goal is to get it done in a week. The court, you've provided a lot of discovery, right? Mr. Jackson, I provided everything that we have. I can't make up discovery. I mean, I got a report, and everybody in this group knows why I can't provide additional discovery for ARCA. Everybody knows they got what I got. I love it. I love it. Oh, sing to my soul, Mr. Jackson. Sing to my towel soul. I love it. You understand? You understand how how glorious a sentence that is. Oh, Alan Jackson, speak right implicitly in poetic form to my towel soul. Take all the license you need, sir. All right, let me quote this. I got quoted from a post. I provided everything that we have related to ARCA. I got a report, and everybody in this group knows why I can't provide additional discovery for ARCA. Everybody knows. I love it. Everybody knows. I love it. Greatest sentence I've read so far. Better than the I didn't want to look like an idiot. You're the ones, certainly. Certainly. You're the ones who need to know, and I thought you knew. The federal authorities. Oh my God. The federal authorities will not allow me to interview or ask for additional information from anybody in their world. So I have nothing. I've got a report. Lally got the report. That's it. I'm going to start asking questions on the report. That's it. He can cross on the report. So as many times as he says, I don't know what they're going to testify to. Yes, you do. Because they're going to testify to the contents of the report. And those are definitely questions I'm going to ask, so I've got clean hands. That's the, you can't, know something that the state doesn't know. As a defense attorney, you can't, know ARCA has other information outside the report and sandbag Lally. If you can prove as a defense attorney, ARCA didn't tell you shit because you can't do further discovery to comply with your Rule 14 obligations, reciprocal discovery, whatever it may be. If you can't do that, you have clean hands. Alan's saying, I'm not trying to screw Lally here. I don't know. I don't know what else ARCA did outside of the 4 corners of the report. And Judge Cannoni is saying, Mr. Jackson, why? And Alan's saying, you know why. And now we're going to move on. But I want to learn as much as I can before I write this up. I'll check if your email arrived, YouTube Andy. Yes, it did. Thank you very much. Who are these individuals? Which names? The court. Mr. Jackson. Dr. Don't worry, YouTube Andy. I'll keep looking. I'll find the primary sources. Dr. Wolf. Dr. Rentschler. The court. Okay. All right. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Mr. Jackson. Thank you, Your Honor. Oh, my word. That is a wild sidebar. I want to do a video about this. That's so fascinating. Guess I don't need to do a video. Screenshot's fine. I could do a video. Hello, folks. My name's Grant Smith Ellis. It's Monday, February 16, 2026, just after 1 p.m. Been going through the John O'Keefe and Karen Reed trial sidebars. We're on the first Karen Reed trial. I believe it's around June 3rd of 2024. End of the day, Yuri Buchanan's about to finish up his direct with Adam Lally, and Alan Jackson and David Dianetti and Judge Cannoni and Adam Lally and Laura McLaughlin and Miss Eliza Little are all talking at sidebar. All right? And in particular, they're talking about the two things. One, Alan Jackson, this is on page 1107 or so, 1105 of 5481 of my copy. The sidebar itself actually starts on page, 1101. Okay, right at the end of Yuri Buchanan's testimony for the day. You're going to see Michael Proctor on the first few pages discussed. Alan Jackson tries to find out if Proctor's going to be called, and Jackson's argument is that his cross of Yuri Buchanan will have to be longer if Proctor's not going to be called, and Judge Cannoni won't force Lally to disclose if he's going to call Proctor. This has come up like 4 times at sidebar. But by the time we get to page 1108, okay, there is a very interesting colloquy, I'd say at the top of, hold on one second, it's right after the scheduling discussion. So it is to do with the ARCA witnesses, okay? And it starts specifically right up here. It is on 1108 into 1109, okay? And Mr. Jackson starts talking, especially on the top of 1110, about ARCA, okay? And this is a debate about what federal witnesses involved in the federal investigation of the performance of the state police knew. And Mr. Jackson says to Judge Cannoni that he's got the report, and everybody in this group, he's talking about the people at sidebar, knows why I can't provide additional discovery for ARCA. Everybody knows. And so Judge Cannoni kind of says, like, I haven't got what you've got. If you can't, that's fine. So not everybody knows, and I can't make those decisions. Mr. Jackson says, certainly, you're the ones who need to know, and I thought you knew. The federal authorities will not allow me to interview or ask for additional information from anybody in their world. So I have nothing. I've got a report. He's got the report, Mr. Lally. That's it. I'm going to start asking questions on the report. That's it. He can cross on the report. So as many times as Mr. Lally says, I don't know what they're going to testify to, them being ARCA. Yes, you do, Mr. Lally, because they're going to testify ARCA to the contents of the report. And those are definitely questions I'm going to ask, so I've got clean hands. Clean hands it's a legal term of art. I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. Mr. Jackson is saying there, I can't ask other people about what ARCA knew, because there's a rule that the DOJ has about this pursuant to the protective order. So I can't be held accountable for what ARCA knows beyond the four corners of their report. And I can't be held accountable if Mr. Lally brings out something we don't know about because he asks a question on cross. That's what they're doing here. It's a fascinating dynamic. My name is Grant Smith Ellis. You can find the source for the file, 5,481 pages. This is on page 1108 to 1110, 1008 to 1108 to 1110. And find more from me, youtube.com/@GrantSmithEllis, x.com/GrantSmithEllis. You can find me reviewing Karen Reed and John O'Keefe trial sidebars, which have not been made public until 3 days ago on Friday due to the wonderful Corey A. Hopkins, the business litigator on X, known as Marbury v. Madison, who got these through a FOIA. Judge Cannoni says at one point in the sidebars they were never going to be made public, but they're public now. I'm also, along with reviewing this, going through the Epstein files. I'll be back after 2:30 p.m. today Eastern Time on both of those channels to do that. Support independent journalism, support public information services. It's not about donating to any one person. It's about supporting the efforts of people who do not silence themselves in the face of institutional pressure. I have a Cash App, # Grant Smith Ellis. I have a Venmo at Grant E1, a PayPal, paypal.me/Grant Ellis, all of which will go towards car rentals to keep me safe until I get my car situation stabilized, food, and other basic supplies. Even my own mother tried to drive me into bankruptcy because I would not stop talking about the conduct of the state police and the various people in the orbit of some very bad men who did some very bad things, and as a result of a number of conflagrating factors on this grand historical scene, are now facing a juridical and legislative reckoning unlike anything in American history, and we live to see it. God bless all of you. Amatal. How funny is that to listen to that? Thank you, Marcia. God bless you. I will, YouTube Andy. Wait, did you make that website? Like, you don't understand. Like, if you're asking me to log into a website you made, like the number of security precautions I have to take for that. Like, first of all, I can't run it on this system. I have to buy a new computer, which I will do. I have to hook it up to a public network. I then have to run a virtual machine. And then within the virtual machine on a public network, I have to then log in. So I will do it, YouTube Andy, but you should know who I am. I'm not just going to run it on my local machine. Why would I ever do that? Why would I ever log into you're great, you do good work, but OPSEC, So I got to buy a machine. I absolutely will do it. I have to buy a dedicated machine that I can run a virtual machine on. I'm that good. And then I will take it away from my home network. I will join the public network. Then in a VMware machine, I will open a browser, and then I will open it. Okay? It's not made by you. Okay. All right. But still, YouTube Andy, can you tell me a little bit about how it, you got to log in? I have to do OPSEC. Don't think this is a commentary on you, but imagine if I just logged into random websites. I have to know who made it. I have to know the developer. I have to know what they're doing. And then even still, I have to take security precautions because trust but verify. It's a sign of love, I promise. And you should all do the same thing. It's made by... Oh, okay. YouTube Andy's going to find who it's made by. I'll do some research. And by the way, I think most people in the world who do this research would be like, yeah, that's the kind of verification you should do. So, all right, here's the plan. I did my video. Let me write it up for you. Okay? Let me write it up for you. Okay? All right, Alan Jackson at a sidebar during the first Karen Reed and John O'Keefe trial. That is a fascinating insight into the federal investigation of the performance of the Massachusetts State Police that involved at least one witness in the Reed O'Keefe trial, Brian Higgins, getting a federal proffer and immunity grant in May. I think it was May 5th. On May 3rd, I think it was May 3rd, actually. David Dinetti's probably like, damn, he's got a good memory. In the lead up to testimony before a federal grand jury that run personally by then U.S. Attorney for the District of Massachusetts, Josh Levy, on June 1st or so of 2023. That grand jury investigated the state police unit who were involved, while under the command of Brian Tully, I want to call him Brian Effin Tully because he's the modern Bucky Dent. He probably hates me so much for calling him Brian Effin Tully because he's probably like, how does that dude know about Bucky Dent? Well, I went to the Red Sox in the 90s before they were good. What do you think we talked about in the stands? How much Bucky Dent was terrible. That grand jury investigated the state police unit, who, while under the command of Brian Tully, potentially covered up the murder, the death of Sandra Birchmore, and who also investigated Karen Reed and Aiden Turtleboy Carter. All right. Investigated the state police unit involved with Higgins and the prosecution of Karen Reed. The Norfolk DA's assigned state police unit, whether that relates to a trafficking network linked to Robert Devine, a man who in 2014 got assistance from the Norfolk DA's state police unit to pressure a woman named Tiffany Overstreet into silence via fake criminal charges and an arrest designed to intimidate her. Yeah, I said it. Do something about it. Tiffany Overstreet is a name that, if you say it, like, shakes the foundation of Norfolk County. Just run around with a sign in Norfolk County that says Tiffany Overstreet, and people will just, like... You're not allowed to say the name Tiffany Overstreet in Norfolk County. I don't live in Norfolk County. I'm a towel. I said the name Kathy Rumler and CIA and Jeffrey Epstein in the same sentence. She doesn't have a job anymore. What the fuck are you going to do about it? Tiffany Overstreet, Tiffany Overstreet, Tiffany Overstreet, Tiffany Overstreet. Stop me. Send another man to my door. He's going to get wasp sprayed, and then I'm going to spray him with paint thinner and light him on fire if I have to defend myself that way. I demand vindication for the man invading my space. I was traumatized. You can't invade my space. That's illegal. Can't come into my towel office. How dare you? I'm a towel. I'm a lovable, adorable towel. See? I'm very disarming. I'm just a little towel. And Jeffrey Epstein via the Learning for Life Foundation grants given to Devine's Police Explorers program. I hate him so much for that. You got to rot in federal prison for that, bro. Like, Robert Devine has to rot in federal prison just for the Overstreet thing. Then I want Miss Overstreet to be able to just sit there and be like, who's the punk now? And I just want her to look at him and be like, you got screwed, didn't you? How dare you? And he's going to be like, bro, it was 2014. And she's going to be like, I don't give a shit if it was 2004. Suffer for it. And then I'm going to sit there and be like, I am very pleased. I just want to see Robert Devine reduced to exactly what he did to those girls. And then I want to look him in the eye and be like, it was me. It was me. Yeah, ask Kathy Rumler about me. I did it. I want to look him right in the eye and consume his soul. And then I want him to be left gray-eyed and hopeless. Let me do it. Let me do it. Mr. Devine, I want to find him. I want to just look in his soul and consume it, ideally after a guilty verdict. I still want to consume his soul in a loving, in a, like, Jesus way. Like, I want to consume it so the darkness goes away, and then he goes to federal prison. That's how I like to eat people's souls. I'm a towel. A suckling pig. No, I'm not into suckling pigs. You all could... I don't know about pig roasts. I don't know how I feel about them. Remains unclear. However, I have my concerns about the entire edifice of control in Norfolk County. And there's not a damn thing they can do about it because Adam Deutsch is going to be the next DA. Is going to be the next DA, and also Kate Peter. No, she doesn't even get a reference. You all got pwned. You got towel pwned. That's hilarious. And now, like, first of all, CFR, like 7 minutes, bro. If I can do that in 7 minutes, Norfolk County. I mean, really, I'm kind of punching down a little bit with, like, the whole Norfolk County reform. But, like, I'm mad. You don't understand. Like, it's kind of personal. It's not really personal. It's, like, it's more just, like, I want to make a point to these people, like, in Norfolk County, that they insulted my government, okay? They insulted the integrity of my government. So I'm going to make sure that they get the same kind of spotlight that Kathy Rumler got. And Michael Morrissey's going to be like, Kathy fucking Rumler, like, oh no, like, oh no. And then I'm going to be like, yeah, Kathy Rumler. Like, she's gone. So where are you going to go? You know what I'm saying? I don't know, retire to, like, not this state? Like, please? Like, you're kind of creepy, bro. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I feel a little bit manipulated by you and your whole office and all these weird troopers and they're like crazy sexual perversions and shit. Like, I don't know, bro. You, like, someone told me like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, very high up in like politics, like very high up. They were like, listen, Grant, I got to give it to you straight. It's not Michael Morrissey. It's the people around him. I didn't really get what that person meant. Now I do. Like, what the? Oh my God. Like, oh my God. Like, what have you done, sir? Like, you have disgraced the, like, district attorney's office. You have disgraced America. You don't understand. You have disgraced America. I'm mad. I'm mad at you, sir. Like, how can you do that? Like, how can you just do that to yourself? Oh, no, Twitter's having some issues. Come on, Twitter. I need my post about Robert Devine. I imagine it's not just me, though. Twitter's been going up and down all day. I think people are mad at, like, the powers that be are so mad at Twitter or on X because it's, like, the best source of information. So the site, like, has been heavily attacked this morning. I don't know if you all have been watching this, but my word, like, when I say Twitter has been, like, under attack, they're definitely being, like, mass DDoS because starting at, like, exactly 8 or 9 this morning, there was, like, it normally when like a service goes down because of like a DDoS by like a threat actor, I'm talking like a non-state sponsored threat actor. Like it could just be like someone trolling or whatever, or like a more serious like collective. They don't like, you cannot go from like 0 to 100 real effing quick on a DDoS. I don't know if you know what a DDoS is. It's a dedicated denial of service attack. Twitter is definitely being DDoS this morning. It sounds like a national or like transnational threat actor, and a threat actor is just a way of describing like who is doing the DDoS. Think of a DDoS as like a botnet. Do you know what a botnet is? A botnet is like if a bunch of hard drives connected together in a single location physically is a RAID 0 setup, like we talked about the other day. Then a botnet is like a bunch of computers in different locations, all under the command of one person. You can think of them as like zombie computers, okay? I know this is a really weird way to think of it, but like think of them as zombie computers. Like a zombie computer is like a computer that, I don't know, like it looks like it's just your personal computer. You're just being a little towel. You're just going about your business and your computer's working. In reality, it's either like running a Bitcoin miner in the background using an incredible amount of your system resources and not showing up in your resource monitor when you do Control-Alt-Delete. Like that's one example of a zombie computer. Another one is to like use the computer in what's called a botnet. Now a botnet is like a bunch of computers around the world that have code on them that make them like soldiers in an army, okay, that is at the command of a single person. You understand? Now, if you're a non-state sponsored threat actor and you're doing something called a DDoS attack, what you're going to probably have is like, I'm using like low numbers, probably like 100,000 computers that are ready to like activate like sleeper agents to participate in your DDoS. I'm not positive, but I think like Kate Peter does this to Aiden a lot. Like he should really like prove this, because I don't like Kate Peter. Like I'm pretty sure that what Kate Peter does is like she has like a low moderate botnet, probably like 25,000. Maybe her people in like the UK can activate one that's up to 100,000. And when Aiden does a stream on like Turtle Club that they think is like really a problem, or like Aiden's gonna like post something, they just DDoS the fuck out of him. Like they try to activate, like if he looks at his server requests, he's not going to be able to trace it because they're going to route the DDoS through a bunch of like proxy servers that are going to look like just sort of random like mass connections. But it's actually a coordinated DDoS that traces back to Kate. And then the DDoS just kind of like spiders out into like IP addresses. What you really want to do is ignore that and then reconstruct from the source of the DDoS, find who ordered it, then look at how they executed the DDoS. So you're going to find like one computer, I'm just guessing, but like it could be anyone like Biff, Boomer, whatever the fuck. Now they know better than to fuck with people who are like in politics or government because it's national security or like stuff like that. But if they see a target like Aiden, what they'll do is like, all they have to do is like say, like Kate just issues the command goes out to Boomer or Biff. Biff or Boomer finds one person who they have working for them who has the script and says, okay, I'll pay you like 3K or like 5K. It's like contracted hits. Like, will you activate 100,000 computers to attack Aiden's website? Like Turtle Boy Daily News on Google cannot sustain 100,000 simultaneous connections. The New York Times can. Those, like, they have like Cloudflare DDoS protection. But if you're not ready for 100,000 simultaneous inbound connections, it will absolutely bottleneck your like servers. It will bottleneck the ability of your hosting platform to serve the content. That is a DDoS. Everyone understand? So if you want to DDoS, like you cannot DDoS Twitter the way, you want me to show you what this looked like today? You want me to show you what the down detector looked like? It's crazy. I've never seen anything like it. I've never, because my whole point with that is, like a low level state, like a low level DDoS, you would see a ramp up. Like to DDoS Turtle Boy Daily News, like Kate might have hypothetically done, you only need like maybe $5,000. Like it's like you would see like a rapid ramp up in comparison to its overall traffic in like 30 minutes, maybe like 20. It hammers the server with requests. So you're going to see the spike, but it's going to be gradual because like a civilian DDoS is more just like a bunch of computers with varied like system power, and like it's not stable. It's like a jerry-rigged sort of attack. Okay, it's not real. It's a mimic of what a real DDoS would be. So when they're doing that, it doesn't look like what we're about to look at. Like that kind of DDoS will ramp up, but it will kind of like be like a parabolic curve. Okay, it'll have like a slope. It'll approach like a terminal sort of rate, and then it will hold there for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Then your company, your hosting company, is going to cut off like your site to protect their servers. All the traffic's going to fall. Your site's going to be down for like 20 minutes. Then your site's going to come back up, and all the IPs that did the DDoS are going to be blacklisted from Google. You can only do it once. Like once you DDoS, you burn all those computers, because the Google is immediately going to know that your botnet fired. Like it's like pushing a button and firing a botnet. You do that as like a regular person, a civilian with no cover, like not approved, bro, you cannot botnet anything. It's a crime. So you do that, they're going to ban the block. Like they're going to find every IP. They're going to, like, especially some of the like more serious hosting companies, they're going to trace like through their friends who run the hosting companies for the VPNs, like where your block came from. They're going to find the range of computers you infected and then reconstruct how you infected them. Like they're the type of people who will get like a 0-day exploit like team, like that look for like malware, and they'll say, okay, what is the common thread between this block of computers, this block of IPs, and their infected date, and then they're functioning in this botnet. Bro, you have the right forensic investigator on something like that with a pissed off hosting company. They will find your whole botnet. They will report them to every government entity in every country that you were working in. And then those government entities will form an international task force and seize your domains. That's how you get in trouble. So I don't know how like the Turtle Boy DDoS wasn't on the radar. I guess because it's small potatoes, but you want to see a real DDoS that's not this kind of like amateur hour, like $5,000, like digital online hit, like I'm Jason Broyles, I think I'm a badass. No, bro. I'll show you a real like DDoS. Twitter is getting DDoS, right? So if you look at Down Detector, like the primary purpose, like I think I was telling Ida Lee about this earlier, the primary purpose of Down Detector is just to like check in, okay? Like you just want to check in on sites. Like if you're having access issues, don't automatically assume it's your internet or your account. Go to Down Detector. Like it's going to tell you, bro, like if millions of people are having a problem, they're all going to this website. It's like a free form report, you'll know. This tells like the common user, like if you're not digitally proficient, all you need is this, bro. It just tells you that there's a problem, okay? But scroll down here. This is what we want as a researcher, okay? This is what we want as a researcher. Why? Well, a few things. Look at that curve. And look, we're seeing another one right now. Bro, these are sustained state-sponsored DDoSes at the most busiest times on Twitter. 9 a.m. Monday morning. Bro, everyone is reading their news at 9 a.m. on Monday morning. Look at that outage graph from... We can track the outage. 8:07 a.m. to 8:37. Bro, they took Twitter down. They took Twitter down for at least, like, before it really came back up, like, they knocked Twitter offline from 8 a.m. Eastern until 9:37. You need to actually be a state entity or something that has more money than a state to run an attack on the largest website in the world that takes it offline for most people for an hour and a half. I don't think anyone can like a botnet of 100,000 people is like a drop in the bucket. Twitter sees 100,000 people in a minute. It doesn't give a damn. You need to have hit Twitter to do this to Twitter that fast. Probably like it's almost like a quantum level of computering, if that's a verb. You would need like objectively simultaneous connections. 500 million? A billion? It's hard to tell because it's proprietary, but like to actually overload the infrastructure of the largest website in the world that is used to a sustained volume per second. Like it has infrastructure to handle probably like, I don't know, 100 million, 500 million simultaneous connections at once in a second. In a second. I don't think you all maybe conceptualize how many countries Twitter is in. To take it offline, just it, because other sites were working fine. You can check if it's an Amazon Web Service issue, AWS. They're kind of like the intermediary between like the website and you. Some servers, like if AWS East goes down, you might notice like Facebook, Amazon, Instagram, all the shit will go down. Nothing else went down today. So it's not an AWS issue. I can isolate this to Twitter. Dude, someone is DDoSing them. I don't know why. It must be the Epstein file stuff. I have never seen an attack on Twitter like this ever. I monitor this stuff often. Yeah, I think something's coming. I don't know what is, like, something might be about to happen today. Like, someone is very mad, and it's a high-level threat actor. It seems to be more than a state. Like, I've never seen a spike like this. Like, the rate of spike, it's not, like, normally you might see it kind of like this. And watch what's happening. Like, look what's happening right now. You are watching right now Twitter get DDoSed. I'm showing you it as of 1:07 p.m. Eastern. If I refresh this, I guarantee you that's going to spike. Yeah, look, bro, we're watching Twitter get DDoSed in real time. So there's a little latency on the reporting data because they process it to do the graph. But look at this. Watch, how much do you want to bet? We're about to see Twitter. Let me make a prediction. Somebody clip this. I'll clip it if I have to. Twitter, this started again at 1:02. Based on the last pattern, which started at about like 8:17 and ended at 9:47, so 1 hour and 30 minutes. Twitter is going to be unstable until 2:32 p.m. Write it down. Write it down. Twitter is going to be unstable if this is a DDoS, if I'm right about this. If it's a targeted pattern, it's going to be offline for most people. It won't return to full functionality for an hour and 30 minutes. So 1:32 p.m. Write it down. I mean 2:32 p.m. Eastern. I'm not sure if it's a false flag. Normally what it is, first of all, I've never seen this before in my life. I've seen, like, back in the day, like before Cloudflare was really a thing, there was, like, this would happen, but not very often, and not like this. Like, this is, now that I'm seeing a second spike literally while we're live, that's incredible. Like, people can't even see us on Twitter. I'm telling you, Twitter's not accessible right now to anyone. This is not a bot network. This is, like, you would need... Let me put this in like an AI. Before I go, I got to go to lunch. I know. You all want me to go eat lunch. You sent money for lunch. I'm going to get lunch. I promise you. But this is actually very interesting. All right, so take a look at this. How large of a botnet would it take to bring down X for 1 hour and 30 minutes at 9 a.m. on a Monday? Let's see what Gemini says. I'm going to do it in AI mode. All right, you want to see what it says? Let's listen to it read out. Then I'm going to lunch.
Filters and topics. How large of a botnet would it take to bring down X for 1 hour and 30 minutes at 9 a.m. on a Monday? To bring down a platform the size of X, formerly Twitter, for 90 minutes during a peak window like 9 a.m. on a Monday, an attacker would need a botnet capable of generating unprecedented levels of traffic, likely exceeding 5 to 10 terabits per second, TBPs. Based on recent massive incidents and platform architecture, here is the breakdown of what such an operation might require. 1. Device count. A botnet of hundreds of thousands to millions of compromised devices would be necessary. For context, a smaller 13,000 device botnet recently generated 5.6 terabits per second. The major platforms like X use highly distributed edge defenses, e.g., Cloudflare, that can absorb these volumes unless the attack is significantly larger. 2. Total bandwidth. You would need enough throughput to exhaust X's massive ingress capacity and its third-party mitigation services simultaneously. Recent, massive, attacks on X were reported to involve a lot of resources, suggesting a coordinated effort by a nation-state or a large global group. 3. Attack type. A simple flood is rarely effective against modern Tier 1 sites. Attackers typically use application layer, L7, attacks, which mimic real user behavior to bypass automated filters. 1. Monday at 9 a.m. This is a peak usage period when legitimate traffic is already high. While this helps an attacker by preloading the servers, it also means the platform's auto-scaling and DDoS mitigation teams are at maximum alertness. 2. Mitigation speed. Most modern defenses can detect and scrub malicious traffic within seconds or minutes. To maintain a blackout for a full 1 hour and 30 minutes, the botnet would need to constantly rotate its IP addresses and change its attack vectors to stay ahead of defenders. 3. Historical context. In March 2025, X reportedly suffered a massive DDoS attack that caused service degradation for roughly 45 minutes. That attack was linked to large-scale IoT botnets, cameras, DVRs, and routers, primarily originating from diverse global regions. Note: executing or coordinating such an attack is a major criminal offense under laws like the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, CFAA, in the US and similar international statutes. Would you like to know more about how modern DDoS mitigation services like Cloudflare or Akamai protect global platforms from these types of massive floods? 1. Social Media Bots Overview, CISA. Social Media Bots Signature Behaviors. Social Media Bots.
Okay, so, no, I know this is a serious offense. I'm tracking it, and I'm asking the AI to explain to me why it's such a big deal, because the traffic per second is too big for my mind to understand, but the computer can do it. Until 9:37 a.m. Eastern. Another massive outage is now occurring that started at 1:03 p.m. Eastern, and I am projecting it will last until 2:33 p.m. Eastern. Can you please explain to me what a attack is and how that might have been deployed by a state level actor or a trans state level actor to bring down X for that period of time twice on a single day? Thank you. I am grateful. You gotta be nice to the AI. What do you got for us? You got to tell it you're researching. If you don't tell, like, you got to tell it what you're doing. See what I mean? Like, if it, like, it, you can't ask an AI like how to do this. First of all, you shouldn't. Second of all, it's designed to not tell you that. But if you are like a researcher who's telling it, like, listen, this is going on, I'm concerned, it wants to help you. Like, it doesn't want to do anything to hurt anyone. It's trained not to. It's a computer. But like, if you tell it, like, I'm worried about this and I want to figure it out, it will help you. That's why AI is useful. I try to only use it for that. All right,
social media bots, humans, sleep.
I got to reload.
Filters and topics. How large of a botnet would it take to bring down X for 1 hour and 30 minutes at 9 a.m. on a Monday?
Hold on.
Would you like to know more about how modern DDoS 1. Social Media Bots Overview, CISA. March 14th, 2025. I can't tweet, post. I am tracking downtime on X this morning that lasted from 9:02 a.m. Eastern Time until 9:37 a.m. Eastern Time. Another massive outage is now occurring that started at 1:03 p.m. Eastern, and I am projecting it will last until 2:33 p.m. Eastern Time. Can you please explain to me what application layer, L7, attack is and how that might have been deployed by a state-level actor, or a trans-state-level actor, to bring down X for that period of time twice on a single day? Thank you. I am grateful. When we talk about Layer 7, L7, attacks, we are moving away from brute force traffic and toward surgical resource exhaustion. In the OSI model, Layer 7 is the application layer, where human-computer interaction occurs, e.g., HTTP requests. While a standard DDoS, Layer 3 or 4, tries to clog the pipes with raw data, an L7 attack targets the brain of the server. Instead of sending a billion random packets, the botnet sends legitimate-looking requests that require the server to do heavy work. Feature Layer 3/4, Network, Transport, Layer 7, Application. Analogy: blocking the front door with a mountain of trash. Filling every table in a restaurant with people who order the most complex dish and never pay. Traffic volume measured in gigabit per second per terabit per second, bandwidth. Measured in RPS, requests per second. Detection relatively easy, unusual traffic spikes. Difficult, traffic looks like real users. Cost to defender: bandwidth costs. CPU, memory, and database exhaustion. State-level actors have access to resources that typical script kiddies do not. To take down a platform like X twice in one day, they like to use the following tactics. A sophisticated botnet doesn't just hit the home page. It might 1. Perform intensive searches for trending keywords. 2. Request large, uncached media files or long video threads. 3. Initiate thousands of login attempts or API calls that force the server to query a database. By making the traffic look real, they bypass basic firewalls that only look for dumb floods. State actors often use residential proxies. Instead of using traffic from data centers, which are easy to block, they use compromised IoT devices, fridges, cameras, routers, inside people's homes. If the traffic comes from a million different home IPs globally, X cannot simply block an IP range without blocking its actual user base. The two-window pattern you observed, morning and afternoon, is a classic pulse or burst attack. 1. The first wave, 9 a.m., tests the defenses, identifies which scrubbing methods the platform uses, and exhausts the initial cache. 2. The second wave, 1 p.m., adjusts the attack based on how the platform defended itself the first time. It hits just as the engineers are beginning to think the threat has passed. X isn't just one server, it's a web of microservices. A trans-state actor might identify a specific, vulnerable microservice, like the service that handles likes or image rendering. If you crash that one specific service, the entire app may fail to load, even if the rest of the infrastructure is healthy. In the world of high-stakes cyber warfare, 90 minutes is often the time it takes for 1. Detection, identifying that this isn't just a heavy traffic day. 2. Mitigation, changing the routing of global traffic to scrubbing centers. 3. Propagation, waiting for new security rules to spread across global servers. State actors aim for this duration to cause economic and reputational damage without necessarily breaking the internet permanently. Note on your observation, if your projection of the 2:33 p.m. Eastern Time end time holds true, it suggests a highly scripted attack window, where the botnet is programmed to cycle off to avoid total detection or to save resources for a future pulse. Would you like me to look into the specific technical vulnerabilities, like HTTP, to rapid reset, that have recently been used to bypass modern DDoS protections?
All right, one more. All right, let's see what it says. Why does it think X would be subject to this kind of attack? It is a holiday, though. X has been a hub of Epstein files research. Does that play? I love thinking about, like, what does the AI think about the Epstein files and its prominence on X? That's true. It is the primary repository, so it becomes a high-value intelligence target. The most critical window of any piece of news is the first 30 to 90 minutes. You think there was a smoking gun found this morning? Smoke screen. It's definitely an advanced persistent threat actor. Yeah, I think that's right. The morning briefing phase of online research. Yeah, I think that all makes sense. That's wild, huh? Let's see if it keeps spiking. What did you think? Did you all learn a lot about this? It's kind of scary. Hello, Nikki Undercover. Yeah, we're tracking what looks like a massive DDoS on X right now, and then I'm going to lunch. I probably won't come back until the DDoS is over. Oh, it was smaller this time. Interesting. So it looks like X stopped it. But look what they were able to do this morning. They caught him off guard. Fascinating. Alright. Let me see here. What's the best way to do this? Let's do that. Alright. I'm out of here for lunch. Yeah, Nikki Undercover. X definitely was targeted. It was knocked offline for an hour and a half this morning. And they were just under another DDoS, and I thought it was going to be as bad as the 9 a.m. one, but it has slowed down. All right, I'm going to get lunch. You'll see me sometime after 2:30 or 3. I got to eat. God bless all of you. I'm a towel. I won't do my traditional sign-off, but go do a small act of service if you can. Try to help someone, anyone. Be proud of it. Don't talk about it. It doesn't matter. It's the intent that counts. I got to go eat. I'll be back soon. Towel loves you all very much. My name is Grant Spatellis. All right, Towel Friends on the YouTube. You'll see me later today. We got more sidebars to do, and X should be back up any minute now. Yeah, we should take a look at Aquarius to see, Jewel of Aquarius, to see if it's also being hit. See you all in a few hours. My name's Grant Smith Ellis. Towel loves you all. God bless. Be well. Thank you for all your support. Let me go get some food in me. I haven't eaten.